Hey everybody, we're back with all the hot hits that you love to hear on the radio. It's cool riffs and the hottest licks. Welcome to Street Fight Radio. We're taking your calls. We're back and better than ever. The people listening to the show can hear the people calling into the show, folks. We've made tremendous upgrades since the last time you've seen us. So let's get back into it and see what Nathan is up to. Thanks for calling Street Fight. You already called tonight.
Nathan.
Hey.
You're back, baby.
What up?
What's up?
I am.
Okay, so here's what we know. The listeners are... Hey, don't put any... cut this whole part out. So, Nathan, I have a vision in my mind, and I'm going to try to guess what you're doing tonight.
Okay.
You are trying to log on to the unemployment page, but it's down for maintenance.
Yep.
Yo!
Oh my goodness, Johnny Carson.
Kreskin.
Brilliant.
I'm Kreskin.
Yeah.
I've got
Podcasters know everything.
Yeah. Well, it's like a little thing I've been working on. It's like a lot of times people want to do self-improvement, and during quarantine, my self-improvement has I've learned to read minds.
Mentalism.
Yeah, just mentalism. That's just.
So I have to. Is Sunday the deadline to get your claim for this week?
No, just the site's been shit. I mean, I'm sure you probably haven't heard like everything about it, but as the Florida unemployment site is like the worst in the country, pretty much. Like Rick Scott, apparently, it's come out like when he was governor, he pretty much just had them build a shitty new website in order to keep unemployment numbers low, just because people get frustrated with the site and not apply.
Yeah, frustrate them to find another
like,
option like petty crime or copper wire thief.
Hey, it's working. Petty crime as far as petty crime goes. But, yeah, so pretty much the site's fucked. That's what I was trying to do tonight. But I mainly was calling to talk about, seeing as it's Easter, my first job was as a gift ham salesman. So I wanted to maybe get into the gift ham world a little bit.
I wish we had an opening here to get you hired to sell our gift hams.
Yeah, we're going to...
When we open up a gift ham, when we open up our Street Fight Meats section of the store, you're right there on the list to get hired.
I'm just
thinking about a meat tab on a website now. It's just like podcasts, zines, meat, merch.
Dude, there has to be a barbecue cast where you can like click and get some of their meat. You know what I'm saying?
Or the sauce.
Yeah.
The sauce is worthless. It's the meat. I'm buying a smoker. All right. I want to buy a smoker right now.
Sounds like you already bought it.
I have not bought it yet. My wife wants me to buy it too, but I live with one kid. The kid only eats birds, and the wife doesn't eat meat. And I want a huge smoke. I want this like huge thing that they got there. So I'm like hitting one of those. Probably waste of money. You know,
you gotta turn that into your side hustle, right?
I don't want to.
You have to get on Facebook Marketplace and then unload like racks of fucking jerky or something.
True. So I imagine you're only busy 3 times a year, right?
Yeah. So pretty much, it was a honey baked ham store, in Pensacola, Florida, and I was on permanent staff, and the permanent staff was about 4 of us, 2 managers, and then me, I was 16, and then like the star basketball player's like girlfriend, was the other worker there from my high school. But at seasonal times like Easter and Christmas and Thanksgiving, we go up to like fucking like easily like 45 people on staff, which was real crazy.
In those little tiny stores?
Yeah. Well, so the thing is, they have most of them have a huge place in the back because they glaze the ham on site with fucking blowtorches and stuff. So the production, it's bigger than a lot of industrial kitchens, the backspace that we had, just because you have to store so much fucking meat. We would have so many people that like they would hire a cop during the holidays to like stand there, on like off-duty security, because they had so much like fucking ham money on hand.
I mean, most of the honey bakes, though, they do go to like the people that are gonna eat them. I can't. Do a lot of people give honey baked hams as a gift?
Yeah, so a lot of the way that they got business was they would solicit like big employers, pretty much. I don't know what they do now, but they were like working with like a Monsanto chemical plant was one of the main purchasers around the holidays. They would buy.
You're probably working there, and they're like, "Do everything you can to keep the Monsanto account," and you're like, "Ew, Monsanto."
Yeah, they put it under a different name. I think they call it Ascend because Monsanto, they're like, trying to like rebrand and keep on the down low. But they would buy for like, a couple thousand employees. But the thing is, they did this thing where they would get the employees like, say, like a $45 gift certificate, right? It wouldn't be like a gift ham. It's a $45 gift certificate. And the way the hams are priced, they're priced by pound, of course. And so all the ones like right at like 45 or below, those would go like really quick, and by like the end, like say like day before Christmas or like 2 days before Christmas, all we would have left is like these fucking giant hams. And if you just got like a $45 gift certificate, like the employees would have to like make up the difference, So that was one way that they squeezed money out of them.
It's like the unemployment thing, and people are just like, fuck it, I'm not going to cash this in. Like I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I'm not going to trade in a $45 gift certificate to spend $45 more.
And $80.
Yeah. Or the funny thing is, like sometimes you would have like old guys like try to like, I don't know where they thought they were, but they would try to like barter with you on like the ham price.
I don't
know.
You
gotta try. You always
really
gotta
weird.
try.
I've been seeing that stuff work lately, though. I don't remember where I was recently, but I was in a place where you did not bargain. And I saw people bargaining, and I was like, that's interesting. At the furniture store.
You are only... That's like the car dealership, dude.
Oh, no, I just buy it for whatever it costs.
Oh, my God, no. You got to send them to their manager. You have to, like, send them to their manager, and they have to do, like, a whole routine where they're like, God damn it, he is mad at me. I'm in trouble with him for the deal I'm getting you today.
Yeah. No, I went in there and was just like, how much is this couch? And then they told me, and either I'd be like, that's too expensive, or that's not cheap enough, show me another couch.
Okay.
And then they found a couch that I liked, that was in the price I liked, and I was like, fuck it, I'll take it. And then that was it. That's how I bargain.
Great.
I don't buy things I can't afford.
Got it. Okay.
Because they won't let me take them out of the building, not because I wouldn't go on to credit debt.
Honestly, to be honest though, because the more deals they get like that, it is better for the employee.
Yeah.
Yeah, without having to bother their manager, they'd rather just get full price deals instead of all the back and forth.
Yeah.
I want to know.
But bargaining for a ham seems like if you went into
it's a $90 fucking ham though, dude. How much were the hams?
Yeah, they get really expensive. I mean, they would vary anywhere from like 45 to you could hit 100 if you have like
we bought gift
pound
hams
ham,
We bought gift hams for the show, and it was a funny joke, and they were $80 a piece, and then it was like not funny to hand them out anymore.
Well, it's still funny to hand them out.
They're good though. I shouldn't have. I left that job to go be like a fucking barista because it was like the mid 2000s, and that was like the hip thing to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, I regret it because there was like so little supervision. I was just like eating all that good stuff like all day long.
Eating ham all day, belly full of ham. So did you get commission on that? Like, were you actually a salesperson and that like they wanted you to churn through hams?
It was more like retail.
Okay.
Sometimes you get like tips and stuff, but it wasn't.
I wanted to know if somebody
really
came.
Business.
I didn't know if if you ever got the always be closing speech or anything from somebody for a ham.
Yeah, I mean, they tell you that, but it's not like they're not going to give you shit for it, There's this whole ritual. They teach you how to like unfold the ham in front of the customer and everything, and there's like a proper way to do it.
What is it, like a velvet glove or something?
No,
it's wrapped in like gold foil.
The foil, you peel back the foil and like
peel
really
it back
entice
a little bit,
you peel it back, and the people will look at like 5 different fucking hams. They're like, that one's too fatty, that one looks dry, that glaze is too crispy.
Ham people are nuts, dude. Ham people
love
are
it.
off the hook.
Yeah.
That's our
See,
grandparents. That's the ham people are the generation before me.
No.
Like those people fucking loved ham, and they're ham experts. People like me, we don't know about ham.
That's true. But my family would have died for honey baked ham. Like we had to make our fucking hams. It was always my grandma
no.
that made our hams.
Oh no.
And she ruined a whole fucking ham.
Can't honey bake a ham, huh?
It was sweet though. Like on like Christmas, I mean, we would be closed for like 2 days after Christmas or whatever, and like no one would fucking come in. And of course, they can't anticipate demand, so we would have so much fucking ham left over. Sometimes you get to like take that shit home, have like 14 pounds of honey baked ham for free.
I mean, imagine if you had Facebook Marketplace right now. You could be getting people. You could get
I could
picking it up right out the front door.
That would be awesome.
Discount hams.
Oh man, it's better. I mean, you're right about that. In that respect, a honey baked ham is probably worth more on Facebook Marketplace than coffee. Because you went to the barista job. Coffee's not worth shit, is what I'm trying to say.
I did know a Lonnie that would, when I worked at Starbucks, that would like trade his free coffee he got at like the Army surplus store.
That's
for like fucking like military clothes and shit.
Yeah, that's how you steal
A lot of
valor.
people
I mean,
just
that's
trade
just
for
worth
weed,
money.
but
That's
he
like
was going to the surplus store.
Trading coffee for weed. Coffee's
yeah,
expensive.
they give you a free pound a week at Starbucks. So I mean,
you
it
did
can stack up. I
Starbucks?
mean, that's 52 pounds a year. Like you can trade someone a shit ton of coffee.
Yeah.
I used to love trade, but also, dude, it's a good deal for them too because trading weed is the best. Because I used to love doing that because it would be face value, but I didn't pay that.
Yeah.
Like you get a $20 credit, but like I paid $12 for it, so I don't give a fuck. That's half money to me.
Yeah. I mean, I'll trade weed for anything because I can just get it anytime I want it. That's a little brag for me there.
Mr. Cool, Joe Cool over there.
Mr. Cool, he knows where to get weed. Well, I hope you have better luck with this unemployment site.
Yeah, that blows.
And you know what? Keep fighting.
Yeah, for
dude.
sure.
Well, I did hear somebody I know filed for it, and they were approved for like $50 less than they make a week. So that's cooling. You just sit on that. Because I was really worried when they started saying everybody can get unemployment. My first thought was like, you're not going to be happy when you get your unemployment check. It's not like they just replace your paycheck, They
do, though.
Yeah.
I always got 2/3 of my paycheck.
Oh, really?
I've never got my full paycheck when
I
did
was
it.
in maybe BWC, Bureau of Workmen's Comp, works different. But they just...
Is that unemployment?
Well, you're not working, so they give you 60% of your salary without taxes. So you get your whole salary. That's what I was to believe unemployment was, too. 60% of your salary without taxes.
It was less. I was always disappointed. I always had to steal to get ahead after I was on unemployment.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Well, good luck with it, Nathan.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, Brian, have you watched Money Heist yet?
Money Heist.
That sounds like it's like a Tim and Eric.
I think
segment.
I tried to. Isn't it dubbed?
No, there is subtitles. It's in Spanish, but there is English subtitles. The dub sucks. Don't watch the dub. But it seems really up your alley. It's like a fucking long form heist series. There's 4 seasons. It's got some good kind of populist lefty shit in there, and the action scenes are fucking crazy.
I'll check it out.
It seems pretty up your alley, but I highly recommend.
Money Heist is a good name for a
It's
show,
a crazy
I
name.
believe.
It sounds like computer generated.
Yeah.
It's cooler than the Spanish name. The Spanish name is Casa de Papel, which is House of Paper.
So, I like that.
Or Paper House.
Yeah. That does sound like a paper house. I agree with you, not Brett.
What? You like Money Heist more than Paper House?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Money Heist is just so blunt and to the point. It's just nah, we're just taking it. There's no fancy
Money Heist sounds
No Country for Old Men or Blood and Water or anything.
If I thought of all the Hollywood studios getting together and figuring out what the movies were going to be for the next year, I figure 20% of them would just be under the Money Heist category.
That's true. It's true. I mean, most of the movies I like are about a money heist.
That's motivating. It makes the most sense to all of us.
It's better than any fucking heist thing I've ever seen. Because what I don't like about most heist films is it just go so fast. You're gonna have the training montage, and someone's gonna die.
Have you seen Tower Heist though? because that's got a good heist in it. I'm kidding.
What does?
Tower Heist with Eddie Murphy.
Ooh. Haven't seen that one.
I've seen any movie
But,
with the word heist.
And this is why people don't believe you when
Money
you say
Train?
you like something.
Money Train's a good heist movie.
Money Train. I don't know.
Money Train.
I don't know if I saw
It's
it.
got
All right, well,
Woody
I'll let y'all
Harrelson.
get to some calls. But
Oh,
Have
thank
a
you,
good one,
Good
Nathan.
talk.
Thanks
Take
for
care.
calling. What are you on Twitter or anything else? You're on House Party?
yeah, I'm on Twitter. Nate Marona, Marona. My band
wait,
NASCAR
no.
Noir. We just dropped a new album too, so you can check that out on Spotify and all that shit. If you want some kind of folk punk power emo to get you
Nice.
through
What was the
these
name again?
times. NASCAR Noir.
All right. Nate Morona on the phone.
Okay,
Thanks for calling in.
So, this movie Money Train, it stars. That's a movie I'm talking about. Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson.
That's a great combo. That's
the
a
White
White
Man
Man
Can't
Can't Jump combo,
combo, yeah.
which is
They
legendary.
did another movie together where they rob a bank with a money train subway.
Okay, well, I'm gonna put that on my pirate from the. I'm doing DVD Netflix right now. I'm paying
So
for 3
weird.
at a time DVD Netflix in the mail. So
I
I'm
know.
I'll write on my list. I'm gonna put it at the top. That's not an advertisement for that, but that's what I'm doing.
I don't know. My daughter was making fun of you because you had a DVD.
Okay, yeah, I do.
You had the DVD thing.
Hey
and
man, she's got. You know what? When everything goes back to analog, and the only way you can watch shit is putting a plastic disc into a fucking DVD player, she's gonna be thankful.
don't tell her that's gonna happen.
Well, I have to.
No. Man, Money Train got a 22% on Rotten Tomatoes when it's really clearly
Probably
one of the
good.
greatest movies ever made. Yeah.
I mean, it has 2 absolute legends in it.
Uh-huh.
The best ever.
I love Wesley Snipes' beliefs on taxes.
I do. I agree with him as well. I also love his that he refused to open his eyes during that Blade scene, so they had to CGI his eyes open. And then Woody Harrelson, self-proclaimed anarchist. So Money Train is where it's at. That's
Money Train. I'll watch Money Train.
We're gonna
again.
put that on the viewing.
Get everybody involved. I'll let everybody know how good it is.
Congressional baseball fans said there was a controversy about it.
Money Train controversy.
It was too good. Like,
Controversy.
it made too much sense that you should just rob a
Hold on.
bank.
I'm gonna look this up.
That was the problem. It really laid it out why we should all just rob the banks. That's an issue.
That would be cool. You can.
Next call.
Is that call that I sent you? The paper in the thing?
What did I do with that paper?
Oh, jeez. Oh, no.
Here I am. Ba-na-da-na-na. Rocked you like a hurricane. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who the fuck are we talking to tonight?
Rude.
Hey,
Hello?
it's Alex.
Alex! This Alex Press.
Hey.
Editor of Jacobin. Hey,
How are you guys?
We're fucking great. How are you? We were
Coolest
supposed to
kid
be
in New
seeing
York.
you soon. Yeah. We were supposed to be seeing
Dude,
you
I
soon.
have been better. It is insane here.
Are you alone? Are you quarantined alone, or do you have any people with you?
I have a roommate here.
That's probably good, though.
Yeah, it's good. Otherwise, I really would just not be talking to anyone like 24 hours a day. It would be silent.
Yeah, we've hung out a bunch. You're a social person. It's probably as bad for you as it is, because I feel like I'm gonna go nuts because the
I feel
circle
like I'm
had to
going
get so
insane.
small. Yeah.
Like, that's part, like, I'm just calling up friends out of nowhere. I'm just, like, because part of me just wants to show up at people's apartments because I'm just so not used to being alone like this.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I was up at like 1 a.m. and I probably walked a couple miles in my living room. Like, I was just pacing
Oh
this
my God.
figure 8. I was like texting on my phone and just walking for a few hours all night long and just looking at my phone over and over again. I felt like a caged animal.
Yeah.
Yeah, last night I like drank a beer and just texted my friends and was like, "Whoa, I've just spent 3 hours doing this. This is just all I'm doing now."
Well, I got that.
Like 8.
Yeah. I've also been. My daughter got Facebook Messenger for kids, so she like calls the shit out of her friends now, which is pretty good.
How
Old
is she?
She's 7.
Okay.
So basically what they do is they sit on Facebook Messenger for kids for 45 minutes and they don't say a word to each other, but they cycle through all of the filters and do them at each other.
Yeah. That sounds
Oh my
fun.
God.
Yeah, that's what 7-year-old communication is right now.
My kid's fucking miserable.
I feel like that's something I would do too. It's not that weird.
No, they're fun, but like I always throw on a filter when I'm having a conversation with somebody because, you know, people are like think we're too old for that, which is stupid.
That's right.
But I at least like to keep the conversation going. I just don't sit there with the dog face and give you the lick for like 2 minutes without saying anything.
That's true. Right. That would be weird. How are you both of your kids dealing with all this?
I mean, mine's having a tougher time, I think, probably, just because, like, she knows what's going on, and her friends can't even hang out outside 6 feet apart from her, so she's pretty much stuck with me and the wife and Animal Crossing, and it's, I mean, for a teenager, I think this is, like, you know, obviously people are out of jobs and people are dying and stuff. For a teenager, I think this is maybe exceptionally hard, and I hadn't considered until the past couple weeks how hard this kind of thing is on her. And I like try to help her get through it, but it's just like she's 15 years old and the whole world's on pause.
She is driving a car right now.
We've been letting her drive.
Wow.
When the streets
But it's
are empty.
the best time, right?
Yeah.
Like, she can't get her temps because the BMV's closed. But, like, I feel like if you're going to teach somebody how to drive, now's the time. There's nobody
Do
out.
it when the streets are empty. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes
yeah.
some sense.
I have noticed here, though, because I walk every day, people are more aggressive in their cars. Like, they're mean. They're I hear motherfuckers honk. Every day I hear somebody honking at each other, and that didn't happen in Ohio.
My favorite thing ever is that people don't follow red lights anymore. I've seen so many people just blow through them like fucking nah. Might be the last day of my life today. I don't give a fuck about red lights anymore. I love it.
Yeah, I mean,
Damn.
people just seem... I know in New York, it's probably different in that, like, it's maybe a little scarier to go out there than it is here. Because it just, there's a lot of cases there. But, like, hopefully people are being nice to each other a little bit. You guys are famous for being nice to each other after a tragedy, though.
Yeah, right. It is funny, like, I'll be, I don't know, like, sitting on my stoop and just sort of notice people do the sort of making sure they're far away from you. They'll sort of veer out of the way in a way that, like, in any other context would seem so rude. And so it's hard not to take it personally.
Right, yeah.
But I, you know, I think people are being mostly, I mean, everybody I talk to is just, you know, all of a sudden you're asking, how are you doing? How's everything going? You know, there's something nice about the concern about each other.
So, yeah, it doesn't feel that way here to me. It does. I mean, people are really avoiding each other. But, like, when I go on Nextdoor, everybody's mad because people are outside. But it's like, motherfucker, you're outside if you notice that everybody else is outside. Hey, I was out walking around the neighborhood. Noticed a ton of people were out walking around the neighborhood. You know, it's like, fuck you. You were out. Stay in. If you're fucking worried about it, just stay in the fucking house.
You know, actually, there's a friend of mine that lives in a neighborhood that's a little more well-to-do. And they have lots of Facebook groups where people complain about kids playing basketball. They were complaining about kids playing basketball until they put plywood over the hoops.
Yeah, they
eventually.
Did that. They were complaining in my neighborhood. I saw one kid shooting baskets, and I was like, maybe. So I saw one kid shooting baskets alone. And that's the point where I said, we got to close these basketball courts. And the only reason I thought that is because, like, only one person can shoot baskets at a time. Like, and you're here? You know, what about the other person who would want to come over here, just walks by, they see this guy shooting baskets, like, I can't shoot baskets, I can't get 6 feet away from him.
Well, no, the gym has worked on this principle for a very long time. You just wait for your turn.
But one person is one person on the court just shooting baskets is like, all right, I'll move on.
15
and then
minutes.
one more person gets to come.
Man.
It just seems like close it. You know, the skate park's closed in my neighborhood. The pool, very ambitious. The pool put out their chaise lounges. So people
Wow.
rent and they can lay on. I'm like, that's pretty ambitious because I don't think it's happening for you this year, but whatever, you know?
Well, so I was surprised. So we were worried about it. I have friends that we have kids that are the same age. They have a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old. So we did an Easter egg hunt in the park today, and we got nothing but praise for it. I'm sure that we're considered like virus carrying bastards or whatever, but everybody was just so excited to see kids outside having fun for once, you know?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like when I walk by and the kids are riding bikes and doing skateboarding stuff because it's just like these kids got to do stuff. You know, they can't just be stuck. I mean, for me, it's like my daughter being stuck with like people are like, I'm sure people are like, oh, it's probably not that bad being stuck with your parents if it's Brian and my wife, but it is still bad. It doesn't matter how lenient and cool your parents are. If it just doesn't even matter, it's your parents.
The last person I want
to
joke around with is my parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, I mean, I have cool parents, but like being stuck inside with them for 2 months as a teenager sounds like, you know, I would have cried every day.
Yeah, and I just feel for her because, you know, you build these. I mean, people think that high school's not like important, but I feel like your connections in high school are so much more heightened than when you're an adult. Like, I feel like a lot of people when they're adults are just like, I don't need to hang out. You know, we'll text back and forth, but we don't need to hang out like every day. Where in high school, like when you have a friend or a group of friends in high school, you want to see those people every single day and be with them and be doing stuff. And like, I mean, I guess she talks
and it feels like it's like the most important thing in the world too. Like if you're not with them, then the world ends pretty much.
Right, exactly. That is true. If you're not with them, everything fucking cool happened the day you weren't there. Yeah. I used to always believe that.
Mm-hmm.
God, do you remember having that feeling, Alex? Like where you would just be like your friends would all be like, we're gonna go like cliff dive into a river and get high. And you're like, oh, I want to go to that. And then they're like, oh, there's not enough room in the car. And then you just sit at home and you're like, boy, that cliff diving's probably fucking
best time
great.
of your life.
Yeah, that was probably the time. That was the time I was supposed to be somewhere and enjoying stuff, you know?
Yeah, that probably would have been the best day of my life. It's like, they could be like, we're going to the mall. We're going to the mall to like sit in the food court and then go to like Forever 21. And you'll be like, man, if I had gone to the mall, that would have been it for me. Best day of my fucking life.
If I could have gone to the fucking mall and have a girlfriend. This sucks.
Yeah, right.
I think I did actually I wrote like a diary sort of thing for a period of time. And I wrote about how I was going to like ruin my parents' life when I got older because they wouldn't let me go to a party with a girl who was supposed to be my girlfriend.
Oh my God.
Alex, I have a question. I want to know what's keeping you glued together, right? Like what's helping you get through this? For me, I've been listening to Megadeth like crazy, and I've been watching Formula One racing and like everything related to it whenever I have the chance. Something about like the high octane, like riding the line of, 200 miles an hour is exhilarating to me, and it like gets me out of this the same way that like Megadeth guitar riffs do. So what is keeping your sanity together?
I don't have anything great. I mean, one thing I got was a friend dropped off a like stationary bike that they had, like a really cheap, like crappy bike, but it works.
The old school?
So you can bike in my room, right? So
cool.
I just do that, and I feel like a hamster on a wheel, but it kind of helps.
No, that's important. I mean, you have to.
Yeah.
I got a hand-me-down from my in-laws, a Total Gym. They got a Total Gym, the Chuck Norris like Total Gym from the infomercials. They got it from
Right,
a
right.
garage sale for $20. And I took it because I'll take anybody's thing that they're getting rid of because I always plan to sell it later. But that
Mhm.
has been like my savior. And I go down there with my Total Gym. I feel like I'm Chuck Norris. And I mean, it is helpful, whether it's push-ups or pull-ups or jumping jacks, just getting sweaty or doing something to get rid of the energy because it builds up so fast. I took a
Yeah.
I took a walk today and it felt weird. Like I work out at the house. I can do burpees and squats and all that stuff, but actually walking a good distance, I haven't done it in like a week.
Buddy, you're welcome to
Yeah.
come with me. I love the company. And Brett is one of the only people that's handled my amount of walking ever. He's in a small club.
Ever since I found out that you do these like 20-mile walks, I have wished that we could do like a big walk around. I know you were going to do a big New York City walk. That seemed great. I guess it got canceled.
Yeah, and the Great Saunter was in May. It was gonna be a 20 fucking mile walk.
Well, here's a promise. This is a Brian Quinvey / Murder Brian promise, okay? And Brett
Okay.
will keep me honest here. We will have an extra day in New York when we make up this tour date, and I will take a walk with anybody that wants to come with me. But you have to go on my fucking walk.
Okay.
So you can't be. I mean, you could quit. I don't care if you're quitting. If you're the quitting type, you know. I played a game against my wife last night. We tied 2-2, and then she didn't want to play the 5th game. And I'm like, I know. You feel me on that? It drives me crazy. But I settled down, and I'm smooth about it now. I'm okay. So if you want to quit the walk, fine with me. But if you want to do a full on Brian walk, I'll promise we'll do it in New York this year.
Okay.
Or next year, whenever we're allowed back in New York.
This is great too because this reminds me of how you were like, why would you pay for a 5K when you can just run anywhere? Like, why would we pay? We can create a mass of people and walk wherever we want. We're gonna do like a critical mass, but walking in Manhattan.
I'll tell you this, Alex. Brett has walked 36,000 steps with me, and that's like a regular heavy day. Like that's if I decided to go heavy. 36K is a pretty big day. You know, at this point
Do you know how many miles that translates into? Have you figured it out?
Yeah, it tells you on the app. I usually walk between 15 and 20 miles a day. That's like the area that it's in there is 15 to 20. And
yeah, I mean, 10,000 steps is 4 to 5 miles.
Yeah.
Okay.
So today I walked a short day, and I got 10 in. So I walked 10 miles.
Jesus.
And that's like on my. That's
how
like
many steps is 10 miles?
How many steps is 10 miles? It's not very much. It's like
it's
25,197.
Yeah,
it's not a lot for me.
It's double the amount that people get pedometers for.
Yeah, well, that's what happened to me though. My wife was like, "I'm doing this thing with the pedometer. It's a competition at work, and we win something at the end." And I'm like, "What's this pedometer business?" And then she showed it to me. She was like, "You just gotta get 10,000 a day." And I was like, "That's it?"
You gamified your life.
And then I just turned my life. Well, now it's like, how many can I get?
Gamified.
Yeah.
High score. It's called a high score.
I have a high score, okay, and I want to beat my high score every summer. But at some point, I'm going to get to a point, where it's physically impossible to beat my high score.
Unless you get faster at walking or you start running a little bit.
That's true. I would probably have to do that. I'm getting you guys my high score here in a second. I was
going to ask.
Yeah, I gotta get it up here.
We gotta get some calls in. We got some people who've been in there for a while.
Give me just 2 seconds.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, I'll get out of here. Then.
It's not your fault. You're wonderful. It's these fucking like riffraff that call in after you that want to just tell us their boring stories.
Oh, that's not.
The guy who talked before me was great.
Yeah, everybody's great. We love them.
Yeah.
Where is my insights at?
Don't talk about your listeners that way.
I get to like once a year. Okay, I'm cashing
So my
in.
3 days. So my 3 biggest days, right?
Yep.
Monday, November 4th, 2019 is my biggest day. and that was 66,776 steps.
Good God.
Was
that when we were shrooming?
No, I beat that one. This one took from 11 a.m. till midnight.
Wow.
I
That's
walked
a big walk.
that whole walk, yeah. Number 2 is Tuesday, September 3rd, and that was 61,358. And then number 3 is 60,508, and that's September 23rd. So, like, usually sometime near the end of the summer, I get to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm going to get up at 10 tomorrow. I'm going to walk till midnight and see if I can get 75,000. I think 75,000 is the number.
Okay. 75
That's
sounds a great
Brian.
number. I love that number.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
But I think it's possible,
All right.
and I'm going to do it by the end of the summer. Thank
Okay.
you for calling, Alex. We love you, and we will
Of
see
course.
you again for sure.
Yeah, and
Great. Okay.
hang out with me on Instagram Live if you're lonely. I want to do a show.
Okay, I did that with Matt Christman today, and it was very funny. So I'm down to do that.
Yeah, it's a lot. I did it with Jamie from Antifada, and she had never done it before, and she was like, "Oh my God, I can show you my cats in my apartment." And she was just like walking around and eating soup and showing everybody her life. It was fun.
Yeah. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Have a good night, Alex.
Peace to the Middle East.
Alex is the best.
All right.
One of the people from online that I've met the most.
Yes.
Who is very cool and nice. Love Alex.
Had some amazing, wonderful times with her. Top-notch person. Best in Brooklyn award for 2019.
But yeah. We didn't hang out with her. Oh, we did both times. She was at the show in Brooklyn and in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Hotlanta.
Yes, that's what it's called.
Let's get these calls, man.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight? If I click the button right, we can get into this. All right. Hey, where's that button at? What's up?
Hey there.
Howdy.
Hey, who is this?
This is Kiara.
Hey, Kiara.
Hey, Kiara.
How's it going?
Thanks for doing tech support.
For sure. I said, damn, you fixed it. I wanted to put that on my stenographer resume.
You can. Go for it. Just say I did technical support. And we'll just give them our phone number. We'll let them know.
Hell yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting some candy.
So,
Crinkle in
yeah.
the bag.
Oh, I want candy. Sure.
I would. I'd
I
love to
just
give
wanted
you
to
some
talk about-
candy.
What kind? What's your candy? What's your like flavor?
Anything chocolate.
Oh, really?
I'm a child. I bought a tub of chocolate-covered caramels from Amazon for my birthday. I ordered it 4 weeks before my birthday, and it got here a week after my birthday, which was yesterday. Week after was yesterday.
I mean, lots of people celebrate birthday weeks, so I think that's within the window. Caramel
Well, in
with
the Dom
chocolate too.
universe, you have to celebrate all month.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, oh, my birthday is in April, so you have to give me extra stuff all April.
Okay, I love showering me with gifts. April showers bring gifts for me. Showering gifts.
That's
That
right.
sounds good.
I also was raised by a sweet tooth hillbilly, and caramel and chocolate is like the best way to go with it. I love a nice ball of sugar wrapped in chocolate.
My wife makes fun of me because I like caramello.
Oh, that's a good one.
That candy bar.
They're good.
It's very good.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on tonight?
So much crap. I had to take a beta blocker because just listening to all of this for, over an hour straight when I've been on personal media lockdown because I don't want to see it at all. It's just too much. It's too fucking much.
What is?
But just the corona crap.
Yeah, it's hard.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what you're going through, but my wife is managing it poorly. And I got to say, you got to just jump in for like 30 to 60 minutes a day. I think the corona information should be like exercise. Like you do it 30 minutes a day. You get in there, just inform yourself, and then go about the rest of your time like it's not happening.
Well, I stopped doing real life sessions a month ago. And I still have guys messaging me on Twitter, hey, are you doing real-time sessions? I'm like, no. And they're like, why not? I'm like, obviously the fucking pandemic.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, what if you just take my temperature first? No.
Yeah.
your dick's not that important, and the money's not that important.
Yeah, I've saw people get booty calls, and I don't know what to say because I mean I live with my sexual partner, but I also live with my prophylactic, which is my daughter. So I mean, but at the same time,
I've heard that
like,
struggle from friends.
yeah, I mean, I've never been into like, I don't know. I have to have the real thing. I really like the juices mixing.
Gross.
Me too, man. Me too. I love to just be like, just.
But like
contact is my favorite thing.
I guess could I give up hooking up if I was single right now? I really don't know. I don't. It would be very hard, but I think it's possible, and there are other ways to do it. There's online ways to support your people, right?
Right. Yeah. No, I definitely have been rocking the online world, but just the constant like dogging on me of like, well, I'm giving you money and you're turning it down. Yes, because you could also be giving me a deadly disease for me and my immunocompromised family.
Yeah, it's stupid. I mean, we have to. I mean, everybody does. It's annoying that people don't think that this service wouldn't be affected by the virus, or that they should expect something different.
It's super affected.
Well,
like,
they can. Is it? So
I'm looking at something on.
You're in like a quasi-legal area, right? Is that why they feel comfortable doing that? Because like no government can tell you to not come over and hang out.
Probably, yeah.
Besides throwing you in jail, I guess.
Right. Well, we get like $1,000 fine in Michigan for leaving the house unnecessarily without a mask. So there's that.
Oh, they don't keep that.
We'll see.
Right. I'll just cough on a cop, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really stupid. I can't believe that people are still going to that, still trying to pressure you into that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, people want.
And then I got this article from a friend that's like, the very first page of the online application for the business bailout says that in order to be an eligible entity for this bailout check, you can receive monetary relief from the bill. An applicant cannot present live performances of a prurient sexual nature or derive directly or indirectly more than de minimis gross revenues through the sale of products or services, blah, blah, blah. You can't be a sex worker and get bailout money.
That sucks.
Oh, no Trump bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really annoying because it's one of those gray areas that everybody that is online is aware of and knows is happening and knows what these services are. In the same way that we also know that like there's a legal work that's happening to make all of our produce get to our tables. Like there's all of these people that are being exploited under the table and we allow it to happen without the protections. But like you are a very big a part of our economy. We like. Yeah,
and I do it by the books too. Like I pay my taxes. I have my LLC registered and everything. So why the fuck can I not get the money that you're basically taking from me?
Right, and it's really it's annoying. It's just it's so obnoxious that in a place like America where they talk about freedom and all that, like where you can't convince somebody to give you money and that be illegal. Whatever means necessary to convince someone to get you some money, you're not allowed to do that.
And then the like legal ways that I'm able to accept money online, like my birthday just passed and now I can't renew my license because Secretary of State's closed and I have an enhanced license, so I can't do it online or through mail. So one of the platforms, OnlyFans, the one I bitched about last time, they're like, oh, well, your ID's out of date, so we can't give you money. It's like everywhere else can. You just don't want to.
Right. You're finding excuses.
Yeah, you're just making it a pain in the ass.
Because no one can step in because it's all gray area. It's all gray market shit.
Right. Yeah, there's no way to fucking unionize if
you're not going to do a class action lawsuit on OnlyFans from it's not like PayPal or anything. Like if you admitted what you were doing, they would fucking arrest you or whatever.
Right. Well, no, OnlyFans is one of the ones that does allow adult stuff, so we could do that. But all those ones take like 20 to 40%. So like they say that you're your own boss, but they take as much as an actual boss would take.
Yeah, digital pimping is what that is.
Uh-huh.
Digital
And now everyone's
penis.
flocking to sex work. Everyone's flocking to sex work because they're home and that's all they can do to make money.
There's tons
And
of it
it's
happening.
like, it's really hurting everybody that has been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. And they all have these weird, like, xenophobic opinions, like in the back, you know, Discord chats and everything that are DOMs only. They're like, oh, you know, China's welding people into their houses because, you know, they have the virus and they're just not treating anybody. I'm like, source, please?
Oh, that's
Can we
awful.
just not?
Well, I mean, if you're not in like a left subculture, you know what I mean? Like a specifically, all of them are bad. I mean, I used to be in cable guy groups a lot, and it was just like, oh my god, guys. I mean, most of the time in the cable guy group, it was like somebody took a picture of their work, everybody tells them what they did wrong, and then they start throwing like slurs at each other.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
That's what I mean, but it just seems like it would seem to me like in a chat with other sex workers that you would have every single type of person in there, because it's like all you have in common is your job, not
Right.
like your politics or anything like that. And when all you have in common is your job, you know, people get wild. I don't know why.
It just feels like a job that's, you know, so shit upon by the government that we should at least be a little bit left leaning.
Yeah, somewhat, but a lot of people see the left as like with the government. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people don't understand. They think that we're the ones that do the government, which,
Stupid.
yeah, it's stupid, but I'll bet you there's a ton of like libertarian. I'll bet you if she started talking to libertarians in this Dom chat, it would be mostly libertarians, and they would just be like, "I think what I do should be legal," and that's all I care. That's like it, basically. You know, if what I did was legal and I can make my living off of it, then tell the left to stay out of my face.
Yeah.
You
Sure.
know?
Sure.
Probably.
Tattoo artist lifestyle.
Yeah, it just because that's how I was for a period of time, you know. It's hard to explain that to those people, you know.
Mm-hmm. And that, and just, you know, I'm poly, so I live with one of my partners, and then another of my partners lives 5 miles away, and I haven't seen him in a month, and he's unable to apply for unemployment because the website's broken, which you guys talked about earlier. It's just crap upon crap upon crap.
Are you in Florida?
I want to go out and play. No, Michigan.
So Michigan's unemployment website is broken. We're gonna have to get. I wish we had like the MSNBC like live map where we could just light up states where the unemployment website is broken.
For real. I'm sure it's most of them because, like the other caller was saying, they want to keep the numbers down. They don't want everyone to know that we're at like 30% or something crazy.
Yeah, discourage people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks for calling in. We appreciate it. Where can we get more of your stuff?
Oh, first, I wanted to ask you guys two things.
Okay.
Do you prefer Twitch or Patreon subscribers?
We Patreon we bought into very early.
You also get more stuff through Patreon than you do from Twitch.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
I would say because you get the bonus audio with Patreon.
Yeah, Patreon
Right.
has the option to offer a lot more. Twitch is something that I've never really tried to make money from. Because we have Patreon, it would seem weird to charge people like $5 a month or $10 a month for a subscription and then go and stream and say like, give me money for streaming. But we do have people that have subscribed on Twitch for stuff. I would like to get it going more. I don't know. I just need more time with it. But Patreon is a great way to deliver stuff to people. And there's a lot of NSFW pages that like I interact with and that follow the page, like that have subscribers and everything.
Cool. I'll look into it because I'm subscribed on Twitch, so I was wondering if I should switch over to Patreon. Sounds like probably.
Yeah, well,
I don't know how to get the money off Twitch, to be honest. I've never gotten money off Twitch.
Yeah, you'll get the bonus. I mean, the main reason to do Patreon is because you get a whole bunch of extra episodes and stuff like that.
Yeah, you get a whole extra bonus feed.
Yeah, you get a whole feed that updates every week with like different weird shit. It's basically where all the mini series.
Too, right?
Yeah, I figured that out. I'm gonna offload that to Brett tonight, and he'll set it up.
All right.
What?
How to get her on Discord. She asked me last night, and I couldn't figure it out.
Oh, I can get you on Discord.
Yeah, we'll get you on there.
Sweet.
Thanks for calling.
Oh, thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Later.
You're welcome, dear.
All right, we got a pretty bumping queue.
Go.
I gotta go. Excuse myself.
Break time?
No, we can take this call. I gotta
take the call and I'll
back.
talk to this person.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Street Fight. What is happening? I gotta know if I'm on. Am I on? Hey, it's Street Fight. Who's this?
You're on. Yo, this is Nick.
What's up, Nick?
Nothing too much. I've been listening to you guys for a long time, Figured I might try my luck with calling in tonight,
Hell yeah. We're here. We finally got it working again, and we're here and we're doing the calls. What's going on?
Yeah. Well, I was just watching the Firefest documentary on Netflix.
That's a good one.
Hell yeah.
Is the Netflix one... Is the Netflix one the Fuck Jerry one?
Yeah, that's the one where they're talking to all the Fuck Jerry guys. And it's wild just hearing people talk about that group, like, earnestly, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And, actually taking them serious for whatever reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Those movies are very, those two movies are both so different. But, that was really some
I've not
good
seen the
time.
Hulu one.
You know what would be awesome? Is if they, just every documentary, they made 2 of them.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Just get as many different views on each subject as possible through as many different lenses. Yes.
Yes, so this is a smart thing I've come up with, where if you make a documentary, the government should fund somebody else to make the documentary. Because the best thing about I think the reason the Firefest has such rich lore is that there's 2 of them by different people. That is why those documentaries are so good, because you can be like, you can watch one and then watch the other. Whichever one you watch first, the second one you'll be like, oh, that motherfucker is full of shit.
Sure.
And it's true. I mean, they all are. All those people just they screwed the pooch,
Yeah, I mean, is the Netflix one the one where it blames it on the guy that also got busted stealing tickets and shit?
Yeah, they get into that at the end, and that weird
guy.
fake credit card, or the credit card for elite millennials.
Yes, that guy is a fucking carny. Like, I've never seen, so I gotta look that guy up again. What else are you watching for your quarantine? I'm trying to get as much info, because I yesterday came dangerously close to starting either the Star Wars, Star Trek, or James Bond series. And I don't think I'd like any of those things, but it's just I need something to fucking watch, So I'm asking everybody.
Yeah, so I don't really watch series so much, but I've been going back through the Mad Max movies. Obviously, classic. This is the perfect time to watch.
Yeah, they're wonderful. They're so good. I mean, and that's another one where you just got pieces of steel rocketing through the desert.
Yeah, I gotta watch those.
Yeah.
That's
it's
an action
the
movie
best
I haven't
part
seen.
of every other movie.
Really, mister? I've seen every action movie.
I've seen Fury Road, though.
You didn't see the original Road Warrior?
I didn't see him.
Dude, it's the best. It's a guy fucking fighting to save his family. There's nothing better than that fucking story.
That's your favorite kind of movie?
That's the best story ever. That's what I go to bed every single night. I imagine that my family is in duress and I kill the person that was causing that, and then I go right to bed. That's being a dad.
The first one's motorcycles, the second one's cars. It's awesome. It's badass.
Yeah.
I do love motorcycle tricks, too. I love
Lots of good
motorcycle stunts.
There's fire weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll watch that when I get home. I never watched it. It was just never even in my mind to
You
watch
got to
it.
do it, Brian.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
I mean, I had a hell of a time watching Fury Road. I thought it was pretty good.
The old ones, though, they do just hit different in that it's so practical. It's like what I said about the original Halloween. It's really scary. Like when someone takes a scene and they put a whole bunch of Instagram lenses all over it, and you have these like film students study the direction and the mathematics behind it, it's way different than seeing a slatted door with a butcher knife just rapidly running back and forth. Like that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be in any sort of extra hue. There's need to be extra sound effects. Just a knife under the door and someone trying to stab their way through it is like, makes me step back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, the Mad Max is the same way. The first one is like so, that one car, I mean, you're just, oh, it's so good.
I'll watch it. I'll probably watch it tonight, actually. Aren't those short movies?
What was that car? Was that a Charger?
It's the Ford V8 Falcon, I think it is.
Oh, it's a Ford Falcon. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
should watch
I also
that.
watched Taxi Driver tonight.
That's
Wow, you're going
pretty
in,
good.
you're going into dark guy territory.
Yeah,
Dude. You're
yeah.
really like,
Yeah, something like it, you know.
dude, I'm actually absolutely, to be honest, I took like 3 hits of acid on Thursday, and by the end of the night, I was ready to die. Like, I was just like, we need to go all the way on this thing. Like,
Jesus.
I'm done. I'm absolutely done voting for people. I just want to fight for what I believe in like a very serious way. Like, if you believe
Fucking
in
A,
Joe
dude.
Biden more than me, you're going to have to kill me.
Yeah. So, like, here's the thing. Like, I got into you guys originally with that Minion Death Cult episode you were on, like, last year.
McBee?
The one about, like, toxic masculinity and all that.
Uh-huh.
And, like, the way I'm seeing it with all the Joe Biden shit, like, you know, that's the most, like, high-level, like, demonstration of toxic masculinity, you know? It's like we're being shoved this rapist at us. And they're all like, oh, you got to vote for him, you know, we got to get Trump out. But it's like, yo, fuck, this dude, he's like abused his interns. He's been like weird and handsy towards everyone, like, you know, and everyone's just like turning a blind eye. And that makes me sick and it pisses me off, you know?
The Barack Obama presidency is what radicalized me. I do not want another fucking dose of it. And I don't think the guy that... The only thing he did was that he set up the 3 strike. The best thing he did was he set up the 3 strikes situation with drug charges in the 80s. And then in 2012, he reversed them. And that was the most impressive thing that he's done in his fucking career.
Yeah. I mean,
disgusting.
Yeah, he's sick. He's a reason that he's a main reason we have a mass incarceration problem. He's drugs. He doesn't believe that weed should be legal. So
He's
we're
never
not going
been
to get
right.
him to knock the war on drugs down.
It's stupid. It's most frustrating is that the people that call themselves woke are not caught up in anything, because this is what has led us to the point where we are.
Yeah.
These are the people
Those
that have
people
been
have no
upholding the
stakes.
policies.
They have no stakes in the game. They're not directly affected by like the way or the consequences of these things being rolled out.
And they're the ones that have let it happen. They're the ones that have not been radical enough. Like, that's the problem, is that they have tried to make it a centrist thing. They've tried to do some meritocracy on it or do means testing. And they just have, the people in poverty have been dug deeper and deeper. It's the same thing like we're talking with this bailout. You know, there are certain people that aren't going to get fucking bailed out. You know, all of us that have our paperwork together will get our money, but we also have enough money to keep our paperwork together. So we didn't need it as desperately as some of the other folks.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I think
It's a
we're all just in an
clusterfuck.
incredibly weird fate. Yeah, everything is fucked right now, Brett.
You know what? You're on the right path. Just imagine yourself taking your thumbs and shoving into someone's eye sockets, and as long as you're comfortable with that, you're ready to move to the next part of the process.
Hey, you said it, man. I know it.
And I said this. I was saying, like, so today the DSA said we are not going to endorse Joe Biden, right? And some weird, like, people would just start yelling, "I'm okay, fine. Then you're voting for Trump," and it's like, no. Why would a socialist organization endorse Joe Biden? He fucking helped make the bankruptcy law where now we can't file for bankruptcy. you know? Like, he's done nothing but hurt working people since he's been in office. You know?
I mean, the thing was, we had our shot. Bernie was a shot, and that was the one that to double down on and go all in. He was an 11. He was an 11 in blackjack. You have to go for it. And now that that's not there, there's no reason to focus on the Democratic Party anymore. They totally left us behind, and they showed us that they're not interested.
Yeah. I mean, and I just start thinking about, like, look, I'm glad this whole organization thing happened, but maybe we can focus that sort of thing on figuring out how to become... I don't know what I'm saying, but like the amount of money we gave to him for this campaign could have been like something else, you know? And like, I agree that it's gotten a lot of people activated, but I'm curious to see how many of those people are still activated in 2 years.
Yeah.
And also, looking back on it now, I feel like we saw it happen in 2016. So I kind of feel like, okay, so it happened in 2016. We thought it wasn't going to happen in 2020, and it did happen. So we can't, in 2024, we can't focus all of our energy towards
No more going back to the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
I think that this is the moment when we've been kicked off the edge, and I think we have to find our own way at this point. There's nothing left for us with them at all. And we have enough of a thing going that they're annoyed, and we have enough of a movement happening that we make the news. So I say it's time for us to develop our own way that crushes the Democratic Party.
Yeah, seriously. And I mean, like, I've lived in other countries as well, right? And like the main one, like Austria, like that's where I spent the most time. They have like fucking like 5 parties that regularly turn up in like the highest levels of leadership. So it's just like, why are people so fixated on this binary of just like, you know, oh, they're blue or they're red?
It benefits the people in power. They're always going to be invited to the parties and get to live off the rest of us. So we have to now move outside of them and create our own thing, or you know, I mean, sidestep the Democrats at least.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, political parties are not a guarantee. That's the thing, is that the Constitution does not say that, you know, we're guaranteed to have Republicans and Democrats. So if we can outpace them and make do some real fucking damage on them, you know, the unfortunate part is that Bernie Sanders isn't going to try to rally people into, you know, being a real threat to the Democrats. But, you know, they're...
Like, that was my complaint with Bernie. He was, like, too nice.
He is a nice guy.
When he should have, like, tripled down, you know?
Right. Yeah, I mean, but
we
that's
get in
another
trouble.
thing. Because in 2000, we talked about this way back in 2008, too. You know what I mean? Or in 2012, we were like, you know, Obama said he was going to do all this stuff. He didn't do it. I don't believe him. You know what I mean? I don't trust him in 2012, and I didn't vote for him in 2012, right? And I was fooled by him. And I realized I was fooled the first time, right? Like, I thought I was getting a certain thing the first time that I didn't end up getting. So I felt like I knew who he was. And I think that we knew who Bernie Sanders was before we were going to run. And I think he's a fucking very principled guy. I think he's, like, kind. I think his heart's in the right place. And he has the exact temperament of somebody that if I had to have a leader, that's the kind of temperament I would want in somebody who was fighting for me. You understand what I'm saying? But we also knew that he wasn't going to hit hard.
No, he plays by the rules.
Doesn't do that.
He calls himself a Democrat. He's a Democrat.
Yeah. Well, you have to if you're running for the president. But
sure. But I'm just saying, I mean, that neuters him.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. It makes you play part of the game. But I think we knew what we were getting. Like, I see a lot of people blaming him. And I'm like, nah, no. I mean, you knew what candidate you were getting for president. Yeah. You know?
No, I mean, it's up to us now. I mean, all I hope, as time goes on, I mean, life is longer than we ever want it to be. But like, now is the time. Everybody's been kicked in the teeth. I think that enough history has played out to the point where we don't have to get suckered into trying to do Democrat stuff anymore. This is a great way to terminate our relationship with them.
Mm. Yeah, I am fully on board with that, man.
Well, thanks for calling in. I truly appreciate it. Do you
Yeah.
have like a Twitch or a Twitter or anything you want to shout out?
Not really, no. I'm a social worker, so I try to like keep most of my stuff
Smart.
like as anonymous
Yeah.
as possible.
All right. Well, have a good evening.
But yeah,
Thank you for calling.
hey, you too.
You know, there is a kind of freedom to being able to go back to pre-20, to go back to hating the Democrats. Like, it feels good to
Finally not have to
give
pretend
a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally not pretend like I care about the election of the United States fucking president, because it's always fucked me every single time.
Yeah. I mean, it feels nice to just be back to like, fuck that guy and fuck that guy.
Yeah.
There isn't anybody I like in
I'm
this
going to
thing.
keep it moving.
Yeah, there isn't anybody I like in
And it
this
isn't
thing.
our fault. It's Joe Biden's fault.
Yep.
Joe Biden is in charge of the amount of votes that he gets. Nobody else is. Nobody else besides Joe Biden is in charge of how many votes he gets.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't deserve our vote. They said he's doing overtures to the Bernie people, and one
He's
of
not.
them was, listen, he came out with the 3 things he's going to do. I can't remember the third one, but one of them was college debt forgiveness for people of certain income levels.
Yes, lower, yeah.
But means tested,
Yes.
of course, because it has to be means tested. And then the other one is fucking, you can get Medicare for all when you're 60. It's like, that's not like at all what we were asking for. Like, that doesn't match anything that we believed.
So the next pandemic that comes, when we lose our jobs, we're going to lose our health care under the Joe Biden plan. I don't fucking care about that. That's no different than what I have today under Trump, except for that he sucks at being cool as the president.
Yeah.
That's the only thing he doesn't offer me. All right, you want to take a break?
Yeah, let's do it.
We got 5 in the queue. We're coming back to you every single one, so stay on the line. I know you've been there for a while. We're Street Fight Radio. We got somebody that sent this in all the way from, Shanghai, China. This is Isolate by Kill Hamster. You can find them at killhamster.bandcamp.com. Hope they're not serious with that name. I'm not into that shit at all.
How long would a man live if all disease were erased? sensible explanation would be a war. Nuclear devastation or a bacteriological holocaust. Bacteriological holocaust. Virus stomach.
Our tissues definitely show a massive
Nuclear devastation or a bacteriological holocaust. Bacteriological holocaust. Bacteriological holocaust.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to Street Fight tonight. It's Sunday, time for the call-in show. We got enough left in the queue to finish us up, so show up next week, Sunday from 9 to midnight Eastern Standard Time. We're taking your calls. That music that you heard during the break was by Kill Hamster. You can find them at killhamster.bandcamp.com. The name of the album is Isolate, ISOL, the number 8. So please support them. And if you have music that you make and you want to send your Bandcamp, just DM us at Street Fight WCRS on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, or send an email to streetfightradio@gmail.com. We'll get your stuff played on the show. Thanks for tuning in. So far, so good. I'm loving the call-in show right now. I think it's been fucking fantastic.
I missed it because this is our only contact with the audience now.
Yeah, and it's great to check in with people and hear from folks that, you know, regulars. And last week we were down.
We got to hear Alex. We haven't talked to Alex since probably not too long ago. She's a dear friend.
She's the best. She's just the coolest person. She's from Pittsburgh too. I mean, that's why she's cool.
She's pitched articles, just letting you know, she's pitched articles about us to major publications.
And we're too hot to handle.
They said we're niche.
All right, you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight? On the phone, I pressed the button.
Uh-oh.
Talk to me.
We hear you. We can hear you. I heard him move.
Was it a skeleton?
I think it's a skeleton, dude.
Hello.
Hello? Hi, can you hear me?
Oh, hey, yeah.
Oh,
we
you
got
have flesh.
there.
You have flesh on your
Found
bones.
you.
Oh, hold on one second. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, okay.
Am I good now?
Yeah,
you
you
sound
sound great.
great.
We hear
Oh.
you.
Sound better than a
Awesome.
skeleton in a coffin.
Oh man, I was worried for a second. I was hanging on for a while. What's up, guys? My name is Charles. I'm in Brooklyn.
Oh, okay. How's it going in Brooklyn?
It's going. I'm big fan of the show. I've been listening to a long time. I saw you guys at Littlefield last time you were here. And I've always wanted to do the call-in show, but I've always worked Sunday until now. So still working, but I'm off on Sundays now. So
A lot of extra free time.
yes, yeah. I'm an essential worker, but we are doing 3 12-hour shifts now. Now my job isn't essential, but it's essential. You know what I mean? So I am a doorman in Manhattan. So
Wow, that's got to be a hard one there. The essential doorman.
Yeah, the essential doorman. All the rich people, they need us to really do nothing, honestly.
Yeah, they'd like to see you.
Yeah, I mean, they're honestly, my building is at like less than half capacity at this moment.
I think a lot of
Everyone's
people
fled.
Yeah, a lot of people are leaving New York, right?
Yes, we've had over the last month, man, we packed out so many people. And that's, what we do. We just like take people's shit out of their cars, bring it back inside, and vice versa. And basically anyone that had a house, and there are a lot of people in my building that do, they left when they could. So basically the only ones left are people who don't have houses. We have some doctors in the building and elderly people. And there's nothing going on. So there's like, it's just like you go to work and there's like nothing happening. But I do have some complaints. So I will get to that.
I'm interested.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have 2 stories, and I don't want to take up everyone's time. So if we can't get to one of them, it's all good. I have one story complaining about a tenant in the building, and one about a sad story about like one of my coworkers who is getting into a conspiracy about this. So
Okay.
what would you guys
wanna hear
prefer to
both of
hear?
them now. I want to hear both of them now. Just go for it.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'll start with the tenant. So, I work there in my building. It's a 24-hour service. So there's someone there at all times. And actually, I work 2 graveyard shifts during the week.
Okay.
And as this stuff was going on, I'm going we're still a normal routine. I mean, the world is kind of breaking down around us in New York, but we're still working as if, nothing has happened. And I'm there at night, and there's no one's going out. I get a call from one of the tenants, and she's just like, "Hey, we're having a doctor do a home visit tonight, so you can just like let him in." I was like, "Okay," I'm immediately like, "Oh, that doesn't sound too great," but okay. So the doctor comes.
Your job is front desk at a building?
No, he's a doorman.
So
Doorman,
my job,
sorry.
I work in a residential building. It's a residential co-op. There's over 70 units, 60, 70 units in the building. And it's a co-op. They have a board, and it's 24-hour service. So there's no desk, but there's someone at attendance at all times in my building. Yeah. So like I said, I get this call, the doctor comes, and I bring the doctor up to the apartment, and about a half hour later, an ambulance showed up. I'm like, okay. No, I was like, oh God, this is not good. They start getting their stuff together. They put on their PPE and they come in and they're like, hey, you're going to want to step back. This patient has COVID. So this happened in like, March, right as this stuff was breaking. And I started to freak out. This is like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning.
When was this?
I'm sorry, what?
What date? When was this?
This was in March. This was in March. Like probably, I guess, like mid-March when this was all happening, when this was like, so, yeah. They went upstairs and then they came back. I didn't have a mask. I didn't have gloves. We didn't have anything yet in my building. And he came down with the patient. It's the doctor who lives in the building. He was like, okay. He was in a wheelchair. They took him out in a surgical mask, and they left for the hospital. So now I'm freaking out. And obviously, I don't want to go in the elevator. I don't know like what to do. I tried calling my boss. He didn't answer. I finally got there's a president of the board who was in the building. I got him. He got me a mask, and I cleaned up as best as I could and tried to remain calm until I was able to leave that morning.
Yeah.
Right. Not great. That's not even like the bad part. That's not even the bad part. So I freaked out, and I was able to go home a little earlier than normal. My shift ends at 8 in the morning, but I went home at 7. I go home, I just like took everything off, took a shower, and I went to bed. That's like what I normally do anyway. And my coworkers were texting me. He came back. The doctor came back from the hospital like not too long after, like a few hours after that whole thing happened.
Yeah, after getting taken out of a wheelchair.
Yeah. He came back in a taxi. They were like, he came back in a taxi, and I guess he doesn't have it. So we were all like, oh, okay, I guess he doesn't have it. It was a false alarm, And then some of my coworkers are kind of riffing on me. They're like, oh, you said he had it. I was like, that's what the paramedics told me, right?
Right.
So word kind of got around the neighborhood that someone had COVID in our building. And then some of the tenants found out, and we really didn't see the doctor for the next few days. He was kind of cooped up in his apartment, and we kind of wondered, like, other than he actually that night, he did go out to a restaurant, right? After this whole thing happens, he goes out to a restaurant.
You got to celebrate. I mean, you thought you had coronavirus, and then you don't. You got to go celebrate.
Exactly, right? And I didn't really see him because just, with the way the shifts are right now, his schedule, my schedule didn't meet up, but some of my other coworkers were telling me, like, he's been coming in and out of this building. He looks like crap. This was like days afterwards. He looks like crap. He's been coughing. He didn't even have a mask on. So we were all kind of wondering, did he actually have COVID? We didn't really know. And, I didn't think anything of it other than what else is happening right now. And a few days ago, he called the building. He's like, oh, hey, can you guys, hold my mail? I'm not going to be in New York for a few months. And they're like, okay, sure. I wrote up, we hold people's mail all the time. We're holding on to people's mail at this point. No problem. Hung up the phone. I told my other coworker about it. And then he was like, oh, yeah, by the way, my other coworker, he was like, he did have COVID because one of the other tenants in the building confronted him about it. And he said, oh, yeah, I did have it. So he had it the entire time and didn't tell anyone, lied to us, actually, and was walking around with coronavirus.
Just trying to power his way through it. Just trying to...
I guess so, yeah.
Denial his way out of it. Like, no, I'm a doctor. I don't have it.
Right, yeah. I mean, he's like a retired doctor, but yeah. I mean, yeah, he was like, no, I don't have it. Yeah, so that pissed me off because that was just... I mean, he had it and he lied.
Yeah.
Yeah, how early? So that was pretty early on in the thing, though, right?
Yeah, it was pretty early on when this stuff started popping off. So
yeah, I mean, I think maybe early on people didn't. I don't know. They like if they did get it, they thought that like, well, I'm one of the only people that has it, so it's not a big deal. And then after a while, we're like, ooh, I wish I would have told everybody that,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess I haven't seen him at this point in over 2 weeks, so if he didn't infect me, but still, you would think he would he didn't really make an effort to tell anyone that he had it. He lied to us. He directly lied to us. So
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah,
That's
that
stupid.
sucks,
I mean,
man.
that's really that's the part of this that we have to understand is that, like, the people that that are responsible about it are just doing it because everyone else is being irresponsible about it. So we're the ones that are flattening the curve from the stupid asses that think it's all a hashtag COVID hoax.
well, that leads me actually into my second story about my coworker.
I'm ready.
Who,
I'm interested. Is he a Bill Gates guy? Is it Bill Gates?
Well, honestly, it's kind of all over the place, and
Okay.
the scary part to me is we're the same age. We're young. We're in our late 20s. But he has delved into the QAnon conspiracy.
Oh man,
Yeah,
there's a lot of questions, right?
there's a lot of questions. Yes.
There's two different types of people that get into this stuff. Is he one of the guys that says, "Hey, I don't really believe this shit, you know? I've just been reading a lot about it, and I think a lot of it's very interesting." That's how
I think that's it. But he is following Q people on Twitter and like retweeting stuff.
Yeah. I mean, my brother-in-law would do that too. My brother-in-law is very much like, me and him will be arguing, and I'll say, like, so how do you know it's happening, but nobody else knows? Like, what has made it so you pierce the veil that I can't see? What is it that, and he'll be like, I don't really believe this stuff or nothing. I read it, I find it really interesting, and all my points tie back to it. You know, like they can retweet, and the coworkers just probably really thinking like, well, this is I'm just being silly. You know, I mean, this is a good point, but you know, I don't really believe this stuff. That's what you got to hope for, at least.
I hope so, but he is still not wearing a mask at work. Of
course.
He's not wearing a mask.
Did you?
And he lives in the Bronx. He rides the subway.
So what's their spin on it, though?
His spin on it is that there's not that many. He's linked me articles of there's not that many people in the hospital.
Okay.
It's a hoax. He thinks it's a direct hoax, which is it's mind-boggling to me because like we are in the middle of it. We are in the worst hit place in the world now.
Has he taken?
I don't understand how you can.
Here's what I need to confirm, I guess, because I am not there. Do they really have a hospital in the middle of Central Park right now?
I believe they are building some stuff in Central Park. I have an uncle who works construction, and he's building stuff in Long Island. They're building hospitals.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of it.
They're still building hospitals.
I've seen it on the news. I mean, it looks like it's already down there. It looks like an episode of MASH.
Yeah.
So I don't know that. I mean, to be in the thick of it like that. I mean, here in Ohio, our governor acted very quickly, and we're not meeting the projections at all. They projected that we would have about 1,600 cases by now a day, and we're having 300 at the most. So we've done a really
you did a much better job than New York. I mean, for all this praise that Cuomo is getting, him and de Blasio waited 2 weeks too late to even start doing anything.
Right, they locked down the day before we did, though. So
did they?
Yeah,
they did. But they should have been locked down way before we were.
Exactly.
Because there was more of it there than, you know, just even like international travel to Ohio isn't like as much as New York, you know?
Yeah. So it just makes it I don't understand it. You know, and we're having arguments at work. You know, not only coronavirus stuff, but then he got into the Q stuff, and then he got into the Obama wasn't born in America stuff, and that's kind of where I lost it. We had a little bit of a shouting match on Thursday about it. Once he did that,
here's what we gotta we have to get people for us. We have to say that coronavirus is a hoax to stop Bernie Sanders from working for the rest of us. We have to adopt this stuff for ourselves. Where is the explanation that Donald Trump is using coronavirus to steal the next election? Why can't we give this like a left-wing slant? Like it just always goes in that direction. We need to be coming up with a lot of very inventive ideas on how this stuff is being used against us, and we need to put them all on Instagram so that we can grab those people that are following the COVID hoax hashtag.
Exactly. And I mean, you know, I don't know if you saw that Lee Fang article from, I think, yesterday. I mean, the Trump administration is already using this they're talking about deploying police officers and retired military veterans to polling locations in November, I guess, to make sure they're safe.
Yeah.
That's pretty frightening.
Enforce social distancing at the barrel of a gun.
Exactly. So I don't understand how, we really need to come up with something. I don't know. I mean, I don't understand with this guy. And he's even, you know, I've gotten him to donate. He's donated to Bernie before. He was sympathetic to it. I got him he donated and he signed up for a mailing list. I mean, so I thought he was going on the right track, and then he just fell right into right-wing conspiracy. He linked me an article from Breitbart about CBS News using footage from Italian hospitals.
You know, I also saw, you know, people complaining that they were using footage of dummies and stuff, that it wasn't real people.
Yes.
So here's what I have, you know, now that you're putting this all out there, I think that the way to combat this has to be an info dump. Like you have to go on like a 90-second screed on how Bernie Sanders, the entire corporate elite, is trying to stop Bernie Sanders and leftists and working people. You have to just like throw as much information as possible, because that's all they're interested by. Like these people's attention is very fleeting. So you have to run in with a whole bunch of facts about the way that like they fucked over working people over the last few decades, and like really just cram in every little nonsensical piece of information as you can, because that's what impresses these people the most, you know?
Yeah, I guess so. You know, it's like, you know, when we were discussing this on Thursday, he was even like, I like Bernie and I thought his ideas were good, but, you know, the establishment was never going to let him have the nomination. And
you got to feel a lot of
he's
these
not
people,
wrong.
This is like Alex Jones people. They want to feel persecuted constantly. They want to feel like everything's against them all the time, and that every day their existence is like flying in the face of the status quo. So you have to kind of build some sort of conspiracy theory against Bernie Sanders for him to latch on to.
That's a good idea, actually.
That would be my route. I would try that. I would just really try to throw as much as you can at him and see what sticks.
Yeah, I hope so. I don't know. I think I'm going to try to like avoid talking about this. I mean, that's the thing too.
That's probably better. I don't recommend you bring it up again, but yeah.
No. I'm going to try not to, but if he brings it up, how can I not? Like, if he's going to say, I told him, like, if you're going to say something stupid to me, man, we're going to like have an argument about it.
Sure.
I'm going to tell you why I don't think it's right.
That's great. No, I mean, you should have those circumstances with everybody that you know, and anyone that can't deal with it, like, can just disappear.
Yeah. And I said, I worry for you. I worry he's got kids and he's got a family. And I'm like, you're riding the train. The trains are not running normally. You know, they're on a limited schedule because like everyone, the MTA has been hit. The MTA workers I have family in the MTA. They've had workers who have died, of course. So everything is running slow. So trains are packed sometimes. I went home one day last week, and a 4 train from the Bronx going downtown was packed full of people, man, at rush hour.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It is. It's wild out there.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for calling in and giving us the report
man.
From the center of the podcasting universe, Brooklyn, New York.
Right. Yeah. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.
We appreciate it. Have a good one. Call back.
You too. I will.
I want to hear about your crazy ass coworkers.
I like that. I like having a weird coworker. I like having a coworker that's like
as long as they'll listen to you, That's what I've always respected. Like, if someone throws the craziest right-wing conspiracies at me, as long as I can throw the craziest left ones right back at them, I feel like we're on even ground. You know, I don't feel like it's my duty to convince them, but as long as I can say what I want without them, you know, throwing a fucking fit, you know.
Yeah. For sure.
You want to jump on this call?
Yeah, let's get it.
A couple more to go. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Yo, it's your boy Weed Waffles.
What's up, Weed Waffles? How you doing?
Nothing much, just hanging at my dad's house because basically in an effort for him to make sure I don't go completely mad, he's basically had me like let me crash at his house so he can just drop me back off at my place. Because to give you an idea of the geography of the area in which I live, basically my dad lives in Bath, so to give which seeing as everyone probably figures out I'm black, so everyone's like, where would your dad live in Bath? It's like, long story. But anyway, I'm out here, so I'll cut to the main point.
Bath, Michigan?
Number one, when I heard you say, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I live in East Lansing. My dad lives in Bath. So if anyone knows the geography, it's like, why would he go that far? It's like, where I live in East Lansing compared to Bath is like maybe a 10, 15-minute drive. So it's not far.
Okay.
But anyway, I'll cut to the main points. Number one, when I heard your previous caller talk about honey baked ham and industrial kitchen, because I am currently going through a severe amount of Chapo brain poisoning, because I'm currently listening from like episode 23, and I plan to listen all the way to the Hillary episodes that was recently put out, which if anyone's doing the math on this, like, good God, that's a lot of, how long have you been listening? It's like, yeah.
I've been listening to a lot of stuff
because
too,
I'm because I'm suffering that, my brain immediately, as soon as I thought of that, I heard all those things, my brain immediately thought of a shirtless Scott Walker taking a blowtorch to a ham while Du Haas plays in the background. Don't think about that. Just work with me on the bit. Now, on to the next point.
Scott Walker was the guy that
agree or disagree.
Scott Walker got in trouble for taking ham sandwiches to work, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
like,
that was
you gotta
bullshit.
understand, considering where I live in America. I'm not next to Wisconsin, but I encounter enough people from Wisconsin, either just being in Michigan or if I go to like Chicago to visit my family. Eventually, you will run into some like Wisconsin people. Like,
yeah, I mean, that was bullshit,
like,
though, the way
maybe
that they
just
came
someone
after him
like
over ham and cheese sandwich, because that is like what the majority of people are eating for lunch. They're eating 2 of those.
Joe Lunchpail eats that. That's what they
I mean,
eat.
I still eat a peanut butter and jelly almost every single day of my life, and I guess that would probably be laughable to somebody on the internet.
I mean, I'll laugh at that.
Please don't.
Fucking.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a good joke, but it's like, it's like in a fighting game. You're not gonna win doing like light hits the whole time, but if you need to like break up their bullshit so you can actually like combo the shit out of them, it's a good start.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's a good strategy. Like, so
it's a combo break.
Yeah. So that's. I don't know about
get you on the way to a combo breaker.
About Killer Instinct. I don't know about Killer Instinct. I have literally watched people in Killer Instinct get the first hit, and I've watched the clock for the next 6 minutes. I have watched someone just beat the other person down. It's like, because this happened at anime convention, but that's another story. So basically, at one point, I made everybody laugh, and it made him lose his concentration. I yelled out, "Stop! He's already dead." So,
and that ended the 6-minute combo.
No, it's just a little joke.
On
the end of it, Brett.
Yeah, because it was basically somebody played as Orchid, and they were just kicking the dog shit out of the other guy.
More of a Saber Wolf or Cinder guy myself, but
Falgore.
Yeah, so anyway, getting to the next point. Speaking of Chapo brain poisoning, okay, over under, how long should civil unrest begin in New York? What's the over under before Felix starts walking around, or at least doing IG lives while dressed like Big Boss from Metal Gear?
I think those guys are doing really good, actually. Felix seems as happy as I've ever spoken to him.
My wife is a huge introvert, and she says this is the best time of her life right now.
Yeah.
Felix is the same way.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I believe it. I'm just saying he's going to probably start trying to, like, cheer everybody up by basically doing, like, light cosplay. Like, he doesn't even have to do the whole full costume. Just wear, like, a kafaya and an eye patch, and he'd pretty much get the whole look down.
I'm going to pass that along to him and see if he'll do it.
So, all right, I just want to see if he ever does that. Also, speaking of stuff ideas, did you guys read the email I sent you recently about the whole Darius situation?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry. Where'd you send it to?
Emails.
The website?
Okay, just to give you a hint.
Oh,
I sent it through the website.
Yeah, I have it flagged, but it usually takes me about 4 to 6 weeks to respond to emails. I mean, that's serious.
4 to 6 weeks. Good Lord, man, you're worse than the IRS.
This is electronic mail. I treat it like regular mail.
Whatever. But anyway, the cut to the main point of that email I sent you, basically the part of that was I was saying, hey, I'm still working on the Plex server I was going to try and log you guys into. I'm just in the middle of beta testing, which part of the way I've been able to, like, get people to possibly beta test for me independently, in an act of benevolent social defiance, I have decided to, test this whole, like, thing they have out here about, you can't walk around without a face mask and you get fined. In an act of defiance, not only have I decided to go, like, get some food and groceries passed around to some of my neighbors who I know are very much not going to be able to get some groceries, I've done so while not wearing a face mask, but wearing a custom kafaya I got that had the YPP logo on it.
Ah, yeah. I'm wearing a painter's mask. N95, though. So, I am N95, though.
So, I'm just wearing that one around. It's like, let's see you find me after this.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, why would you wear? And it was like, why would you wear that? It was like, look, it's either this one or I wear the bandana I have that says F12 on it, and I'm not about to test my luck right now.
Yeah, people are wearing bandanas a lot here. A lot of bandanas in Columbus.
I doubled up on my bandanas. I look tight as hell.
Yeah,
cowboy
cool.
shit.
It is cool. I'm gonna probably get a bandana now and do that. It's better than I have an N95 mask though, so I figure I should use that.
Weed Waffles, I wouldn't speak so candidly with anybody else but you, but, like, as a black man going out in a mask, how does that fucking feel? Like that, making that decision?
If I had to describe it, and this is me giving you guys some cheap heat to your hometown, it's like, this is probably the emotional equivalent to if I got my, like, wish that I had when I was 15 years old and, like, got to, like, have sex with Sarah J., who's from your town, by the way.
Okay.
So that's pretty much what it feels like. It's like, well, clearly I'm not going to get any pussy for a while, so I guess this is how I'm going to get my blood hot for the time being.
Well, hey, you're looking cool, I bet.
So,
that's the thing. I like the painter's mask myself. I think it looks cool as shit. It looks like you're doing a very sophisticated heist.
It's like you're on a job.
Yeah. It's like, oh, this motherfucker, he went and got this out of his toolbox, and now he's like a zombie hunter. A
zombie hunter.
No, I'm walking around with the kafaya over my face. I'm wearing, like, my hat that has like the Clash logo on it. God, I sound like a tanky. Anyway.
A little bit. Maybe a little, but I don't think you are, Weed Waffles. I think you're too fun to be one.
So I'm out here, like, passing out groceries, yada, yada, yada. So I'm going to get to the two main serious things with all due respect. First one, a big fuck you to the Santa Barbara Tax Group Company, and I'll tell you why. For everyone out here who filed their taxes in 2018 or 19, and had to get your refund through their card, word around the campfire, and according to them on their site, I guess because for some reason at first I found out they are saying that they're not going to, if you got your check, I guess maybe I'm reading right, but if you got your refund through them via card, and that's the routing account number they have on file for you.
Yes. Direct deposit.
They're saying apparently, even though that's the only direct deposit they have on your return, they're saying because it's to us and it's going through them, a lot of people, they are telling us you're probably going to get a paper check, even though they have routing number 2 Green Dot Bank. And I'm like, wait a minute, does your bank not exist? What the hell's going on? Turns out, and this is what apparently a few people found out talking to actual people, call center for the few people could. Apparently what's going on is some people are able to get theirs, but only because basically the company that owns Green Dot, the card, who people get the cards through, they are being greedy bastards right now in the middle and trying to essentially extort the IRS to giving them a processing fee for passing these out. And at this point, without saying anything too inflammatory, I'm just like to say, all the people at Santa Barbara Tax Group, I just like to say, should the revolution happen, I'm not going to say put them in the guillotine. I am simply going to say, for everyone here who watches Black Mirror, they deserve the white bear treatment. Yes, the white bear treatment. For those of you who get that reference, they deserve the white bear treatment. Now, to the final point, and this is where I'm going to get the grinds my gears thing out.
Green Dot is is that where you got your tax return deposited to last time?
Green Dot, they own the card, the Turbo prepaid tax card. Green Dot is owned by a company called the Santa Barbara Tax Group.
Got it.
Which probably isn't. So, and Santa Barbara Tax Group currently saying it, but then there's also people on Reddit posting screenshots. Hey, we got our spending. So right now I'm kind of going a little bit nuts. So this is one of those things where right now, mentally, I'm somewhere between Arthur Fleck during the third half of the Joker and Marlon Brando in Apocalypse Now. Neither is good.
That's a bad place to be.
Yeah, you're rocking a hard place.
Yeah, so I'm at that point. Now, to get to the point where I want to get to the other end. Now, this is going to be me giving up a little bit of information about myself that'll make me identifiable in real life. I used to write for a weird black reactionary right-wing site that's on the internet called Onyx Truth. It ties
Strong
to
name.
My ties to that, huh?
Strong name.
Yeah, basically, it's this weird site written by this old reactionary. He's not a boomer, but he has the politics. He's basically Gen X because he just turned 40. The guy who runs the site, Gil.
I think boomer crosses all generations. It's a mindset.
Well, yeah, I'll give that. But this is where I'm going to say that this is where I call my final draw, and this is where I finally cut ties with them. This is a guy who is 10 years younger than my own father, but my father is somehow way more, at the very minimum, tolerant than this guy.
Uh-huh.
Basically, the point where I finally had my final straw with him was on, and this is still on YouTube, my last one, because either he took it off or somebody's probably going to report him for doing this, but he does a lot of live streams on there.
Uh-huh.
Long story short, he has this weird thing of all the things he constantly brings up in his videos. One thing that has always bugged me, and it finally pissed me off when he said it outright, was him essentially saying that, and it's pissing me off to say this because it does touch to a personal part of me. He's saying trans women should tell off break that they're trans when men try to hit on them. If not, then I don't feel bad when a man kills them should they have sex with them or try to.
Yeah, it's too
Weed
much.
waffles.
And he
Yeah, you gotta
said,
stop that. That
he
sucks.
said that. I didn't.
Sure.
And I said, and I pretty much was in the comments when he made the first post on YouTube, pretty much arguing with them. And everyone in there, I'm going to assume that if they weren't straight up boomers, they were like around his age, like the 40 and up people. And they're all like, and basically they're arguing for, because there's another half of this where if you watch the video, he cuts to a previous episode of a podcast he did where I was first made my appearance on it because I'd been writing previously. And there's one particular article I wrote for the site that I've long since denounced and disavowed that's still on the site. And if you read the comments, if you read really quickly, you'll see me saying in the comments, because it's a few years ago, saying, I no longer agree with this, I denounce this. Basically, it was me being in my like angry incel nerd phase before I figured out,
Well, I mean, it sounds
comfort
like
in
you were
my
standing up for what was right.
Well, you got out of it.
Exactly.
Weed waffles. You
and the reason,
persevered.
no, this is the reason I got into the present day, and I've become less and less and less and less and less like the guy I was when I was on that one podcast back in, like, I want to say 2017. Now it's like 2020, and I kept saying, if you read the transcript of the comments during the live stream, I kept saying, you keep referencing parts of who I was that you know about me. That is completely out of fucking date. He's like, you don't know anything about women. What do you have to opinion on women and trying to get laid when you haven't? I was like, and I kept trying to say to him, dude, you're referencing my life, my love life from like almost 5 years ago. It's like now stuff has changed. I learned a lot. And I also learned, hey, and he's like, well, if you did more like me, which is basically be like a blowhard asshole, you would get more women. And I told him straight up, I can't be the weird asshole Chad Thundercock guy like you because simply put, in two simple hands, one, just on a macro level, I become the very thing I hate and make things worse around me, which I'm trying to do the opposite of that, thus the food pass out. And number two, just for me personally, all the women I meet who tend to be into that like weird trad wife shit, wanting guys like that, are always nuts. It's like how I can't. It's like why I look at people, and it's like it's kind of like how I look at people when they say they want to fuck Laura Loomer. You know what I mean?
Oh. Well, Weed Waffles, it's good to hear you've come out on the other side of this. We got some more calls we got to get to.
You really made it through a precarious situation. I'm glad you made the right decision and that you're on the right side of history now.
Yep, now I'm pretty much stuck at home, doing like naked katas like the bad guy in Die Hard 2.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll catch you next time, buddy.
Thanks for
Peace
calling.
out.
Peace. Weed Waffles out.
Ooh, okay, Weed Waffles.
That was a wild ride.
That
Always
was
one of my
a big ride there.
I mean, nothing gets me going like a Weed Waffles call. I mean, I feel alive again.
Yeah,
I had no idea where that was going. But I'm glad he found himself on the right side of history.
That's the way I think. I'm like, well, sounds like you were pretty bad in the past. But Weed Waffles, I was pretty bad in the past.
We all were. I mean, I've not been an admirable person for very long.
No.
Not even since I started the show.
Yeah. I don't really know where that ride went, to tell you the truth. I just was laughing because I was like, wow, this is like money.
Subscription.
It was funny. But yeah, I was sitting there thinking, I was like, I think Weed Waffles is trying to like settle a personal score with somebody on the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, but that's tough. I mean, you're somebody that like ruminates on things, right? Situations. It's tough. Like, you don't want to be associated with it. You even if you got wrapped up into it or you're a part of it, you want to move beyond it. It's hard to make that disconnect. It's hard to like create a new. It's hard to create a new identity sometimes, and you do this, like you have to feel like you have to say like, I hate everything about my old identity. Like I'm a different person.
Yeah, I am real bad about that.
I don't like, bluegrass anymore or whatever it is.
I like bluegrass.
Sure.
Everybody thinks I don't like stuff because I don't ever feel like listening to it again. I might go back and be like, I'm digging this bluegrass. I just don't want to hear it now.
Sure.
It got played too much.
Of course. You're ready to get
What
this?
happens is I'm ready. Give me a second.
Okay.
What happens is everybody likes the same shit through their whole life.
Yes.
Right? Like, you don't drop anything off. You're just like, you count what you like as what you like now and what you liked 25 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
34 years ago. And for me, it's like I find as I go through different phases in life, maybe some things that I enjoy at one point in my life kind of falls off and I don't dig it. Like, you think something about, like...
They don't stick.
Yeah, you think about, like, there was just a time where I was really into Back to the Future, you know?
Oh, really?
I was watching that movie all the fucking time. I loved it. And now I'm like, I don't think I'm ever going to watch Back to the Future again.
Yeah, it's not important.
In my whole life.
You were talking about watching Star Wars.
Brett and Jason spent the whole break telling me I need to watch Star Wars now. So I think I am going to watch Star Wars.
But I have to give you the full disclosure. Star Wars is something I was obsessed with as a young person and like created my whole identity around it before they started fucking with it. And loved being a geek about that shit. And I totally gave it up. And I haven't even seen 7, 8, or 9. And I'm not like watching Rogue One or any of that stuff. Like I'm tapped out. Like I don't know how necessary it is, but at the same time, like I think those first 3 movies are like one of the best stories ever told.
I'm gonna watch the movies.
All right.
I'm doing it.
We'll
if
see.
I hate it, I hate it. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, give it a shot. All right, next call. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight? I got to double click.
Hey, this is Beans.
Bees?
What's up, Bees?
Beans.
Beans!
This
The
is
Beans!
Yes, hot dog man.
Mr. Beans.
Mr. Beans.
You don't... He ate all the hot...
Yeah.
He ate the hot...
He
the
ate
pack
the
of
hot dogs field roast?
Yeah.
Oh.
Beans from the group.
And you know what, Mr. Beans?
Cable
Beans?
guy. He's following under your tutelage.
Are you... Oh, shit, you're a cable guy now?
Yeah, I'm actually, my first week where I'm going out by myself is going to be this week.
So exciting.
So
fucking exciting your first week by yourself. Are you a little bit nervous? I remember I was a little bit nervous that I was going to get to the job and have no idea what to do when the customer tells me their problem.
Right. Yeah, there's a little bit of that. And then also the fact that I began my training during this whole mess.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
like,
well, I'll say
I
though. Isn't most of your job outside? Like, you're not really supposed to do much indoors?
Right now, yeah.
Yeah,
For most calls, we're only allowed to, like, activate one outlet from outside, and then we just have to give the customer the equipment, and essentially, because people don't know how to install cable, not to be rude, but it's just like, here's your shit.
You don't have to tell
Have
me.
fucking luck.
People stink at it.
Yeah.
You're going to get so...
Yeah, because
within 1 year, I want you to call and tell me how much you hate it when people run their own cable from their basement. That was the thing that always pissed me off, man. It was like these people, these DIY dads would be like, oh, I know how to run cable. I'll just do it. And then every part of it would be fucked up and it didn't work. And then they call you out and they're like, I don't understand why the cable doesn't work. And it's like, because you fucked with it. That's why. You don't do that to your electricity. Nobody just goes in and they're like, I'm going to run some electricity over there. They get an electrician to come to their house and then run the goddamn electricity. And it works. That was the worst feeling. But outside stuff is pretty easy, though. I think, like, if the type of work you do when you're working outside is actually the stuff I'd rather be doing, you know?
Right. I
mean,
agree with that.
Yeah, it's a good job. Have you enjoyed riding with people and learning from them?
Yes and no. It's been interesting. There's some characters.
Yeah,
I would say.
And they'll just put you in a car with any
sure.
old buddy too. They don't pay any attention to what you look like or what your personality might be or anything. You're riding there. I remember they were like, you're riding with Tom. and Tom was like this older guy, and I was like, I'm riding with Tom. Okay, so I go and get in Tom's car, and he looks at me. He's like, "Hey man, do you like country music?" And I said no, because at the time I didn't. And he was like, "Well, too bad," and turned it on and just made me listen to country music all day. And he never took a break, not even a lunch. The guy didn't even take a lunch.
Oh no.
Yeah, so he just was miserable riding with Tom. Did you have some bad ones?
Like bad people I've like ridden with or bad experiences
Yeah, like
or something?
you guys spend all day with a weirdo thing.
Probably the worst experience I've had with like people I'm working with or like I've interacted with that aren't the customer. It wasn't like someone from the cable company. It was someone from a property management company.
Ugh.
That we needed access to certain units to do our job, and the motherfucker was just like messing around, and he seemed to be mysteriously on his way for like 3 hours, and then he said he'd open up all this shit and he didn't. But I guess at least we got to pee on all the toilets because he took so fucking long. So there's that.
Yeah, it's a good. I mean, I think like when you ride with somebody, you get a good idea what your day's about, and then when you're by yourself, you're just like, it doesn't take long for you to figure out that there's only like 6 problems that you can have at cable. And you feel freedom, and you get to listen to what you want to listen to. It's very great.
Right. I miss some of that stuff, yeah, for sure.
So I want to say, when you ate those hot dogs, since I don't think I've talked to you, and I want to say that like the thing about when you ate all those hot dogs was that you chased it with Mountain Dew. I just thought that was true art right there.
Did you see the cocktail I posted in the group a few weeks ago?
I did not. What was it? Let's get a recipe for our listeners.
Yeah, so the most important thing is, of course, the Mountain Dew. But this time it was Mountain Dew Zero. So none of that regular shit. And Zero is better than Diet. And then
really, Diet. I love Diet, though. I love Diet drinks.
It's not too bad. And then I mixed it with like this whiskey that's like aged in Tabasco barrels. And then I stuck a veggie dog through a fork and I plopped it in like a little, I don't know what the fucking aperitif is because I'm a bit high, but that sounds appropriate. Something, I don't know. But yeah. And then there was something else in the picture, but I don't remember. But yeah.
Here's what I want. Wherever you are, I don't know what part of the country you're in. I would love
Utah.
to do, okay, when we do Utah, I would love you to do guest bartender. Just make something like really vile up there.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
You got that? We sent you the celebration roast, right? Did you get that?
Yeah. So you got you sent me some money on Venmo, and I got one, and then there was this other one where I had this really elaborate video planned out, and I like parked my car especially for like lighting because it was like nighttime and I still want to get on my phone. But I don't think I ever did something with that one because my phone died, and 2, with the content of the video, I was like blackout drunk before I was done with everything. So, but yeah, and then there's this other one I actually posted in the Facebook group that was the one I bought with the money y'all sent, and I wasn't able to finish it. Wait, no. God. I guess moral of the story is, if you're someone who lives in Utah that's used to like buying like bud, you should be careful when you're vaping on a cartridge from California.
Okay, it happens, yeah.
Well, here's what I
And
think.
then
I think that you have a skill that is very rare these days. I think.
Really?
I do. There aren't people that'll eat stuff out
Really?
there. I don't think so. Who do
Folks
you know
aren't eating
that
stuff.
eats? No, you know what I mean, though. Like somebody that's like, I'll try this gross ass shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I eat that every day.
Oh, you made a whiskey with hot dogs in it?
No, I didn't do that.
That's what I'm trying to say here. I'm
Okay.
saying like somebody that has. I mean, Beans is like the Joker, really, when
Okay.
it comes to eating things. It's like, it feels like if I feel like I'm trying to think of what would be good. When you ate all those hot dogs, it was just a really fabulous video. It really, because those tofu dogs already, I think they're gross. So
they deliver.
So I was very impressed with that, and all I was thinking was like maybe like I was just thinking of other gross things to try, and then I was thinking what you could do is take some hot dogs and some vodka. Get it in a blender and just fucking puree that and have like a smoothie.
Brian,
Yeah.
I've essentially already done that. There's
See?
this video that me and Larry posted to the group where I got some vegan bologna that I shoplifted from Whole Foods. Fuck you, Jeff Bezos, you son of a bitch. And I put it in a blender with some Tito's and I just knocked it down. So I've kind of done that already.
Yeah, talking about new shit, dude. You're talking about the old shit he'd already
I'm sorry. I want to help.
Next level.
I feel like this is the type of thing that I am really into this making.
You want to challenge him?
No. I don't want to challenge anybody. I'm saying that like personally, I would love to be kept apprised, and also I would love to know what the next thing, like it seems like we've talked about releasing an album, right? Me and you just releasing an album. If somebody were to be like, hey, I'm going to do 12 videos with these recipes I came up with, and I'm going to eat them, and I'll describe it and release that as an album or like a playlist, I would buy that and watch that for sure.
As long as it was all hot dog based?
No, it doesn't have to be hot dog or bologna based, but I mean, it's just really about, I think if I were going to do it, I would come up with a bunch of ideas and run polls.
Okay.
For it. You know what I mean? And then do
So,
the polls. Because
yeah,
I mean, that somebody that can drink hot dog is like really a fucking fascinating person to me.
Yeah, let's push the limit on what they can do.
Me and Brent have like a lot of really gross ideas. Remember the old idea that we just wanted to get a fucking wagon and drag it through ComFest, which is a big festival in town, and we wanted to just fill it full of Sloppy Joe and then hand out cups and let people just dip the cup in and eat it for free. But now that those days are over now.
Yeah, can't
do
share
that now.
Yeah,
no share.
Can't eat out the same trough.
But what I'm saying, Beans, is that like
keep on eating.
Keep on doing what you're doing because I admire it. It's not something I can do. As I've said, I can't even eat an egg salad sandwich.
Sure.
So it's admirable.
Beans
to me.
can't either. Beans can't either.
Well, that's vegan.
Right.
That's different than reasons I can't.
Okay.
Just gross. I eat all kinds of eggs. You know?
Sure.
I'm sure there's vegan egg salad too. Right?
Yeah, probably.
I'm going to look it up.
They take a crack at everything.
They take a crack at everything. Well, thanks for calling in, and I am a great admirer of your work.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good night, boys.
Yeah,
we'll try to come up with an idea.
We're gonna come up with something completely disgusting and depraved for you to eat next.
Okay.
It won't be gross. We'll pay you some money because I just really like to see that stuff.
Yeah, we're feeders now. We're gonna pay you to eat what we pay you to eat.
Well, no, I'm not gonna feed. I like to let them have the artistic freedom to come up with it themselves.
Oh, so you're just funding an artist now. You're funding a food artist.
That's what I want to do. I think of that as art too. I think eating weird stuff is like, okay, so back in middle school, Jason, who's not here still, but he, back in middle school, what he would do is he would buy the school lunch of the day and a milkshake. But the milkshakes at our school were like Frosties.
Okay.
And he would just dump the whole lunch in the milkshake and then stir it up, and people would pay him money to eat it in front of him.
That's a great move.
It's a great move. And I just think that there's a place in this world for people who are willing to do things that are a little bit... I think there's a place in this world, because I don't want to make it sound like a stunt show. I just think
push the envelope.
Highly cool and fun. It's one of the things
people
I find
love hot dogs are fucking great. Vodka is great. Have them together.
People, and here's the other thing. You really hit me in a spot, because I just think I can only enjoy a hot dog if it's got 37 other toppings on it.
Yeah.
So it's very I like it.
All right. Thank you, Beans, for calling in.
Yeah, no problem.
The
Have a good night.
musical. All right. Thanks for calling in. That's Beans. He's on the line.
I love Beans.
It's speed round. We got one jump in.
Let's how many calls do we have? Yeah, we got about 30 minutes.
Okay. That's 5 minutes, bub. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to?
Hey, it's Roberto.
Howdy, Roberto. What's up?
Nothing much. Just kind of relaxing here. Haven't really been doing much. Just kind of wanted to talk to you about this kind of strange situation I have with my job right now. I work in a print shop.
What kind of printing?
We do T-shirts and stuff like that. T-shirts and pens and all sorts of crap like that.
So what I'm wondering, is your client like is it smaller people or is it like insurance people? Like,
so we do we have pretty big clients. We do a lot of the shirts for the local universities around Texas, Central Texas.
Okay.
But yeah, so I had this weird situation, which was they made us work. We had to keep working. This was before the shelter in place and all that, but we had to keep working. I don't drive. I ride a bike and I took a bus. So there was a point where I started getting really uncomfortable doing that. And eventually, when we were forced to, be all shelter in place and stuff like that, they were just kind of like, well, all right, so you guys, got to go home. And they said, well, here's what we're going to do for you is we will give you another check, but you're going to have to basically pay it back over time.
Ah, fuck.
So I'm just like,
yeah, that's the Trump bucks deal. You get $1,200 advance on your taxes.
Yeah, Trump bucks.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's really weird. But then I get I do my whole unemployment stuff, and of course that whole thing is a mess. And I get a text from our finance lady who tells me, "Oh, hey, don't worry about your unemployment. We will keep paying you as long as the whole shelter in place thing is going on." And I was just kind of like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Yeah.
I guess I'm just going to get paid to sit around and do nothing. I mean, I'm still kind of weirdly suspicious about that,
Are you
I think
working?
I have every right to.
Like, are you doing anything, though? That's, I guess, the question.
No.
Is, you're not even, logging in from home or anything? I guess you can't, right? Like, you need to be there where the machines are.
Yeah, basically. I basically do everything but print, which, speaking of, I have a gift for you two. I've been meaning to send it for a long time, and at some point, I'll send it to y'all guys' P.O. Box, but I know y'all will love it. I printed y'all a shirt.
Ah, sweet. That'll be great. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
So you're just sort of like... Because here's what I would be doing if I were you. I'd be checking my bank account 47 times a day because
absolutely.
The idea that they're just going to pay you and not expect anything from you, especially if you're working at a place where you're like, I don't know, this seems pretty out of character.
Well, when they told you you're going to pay it
that
back.
Loan.
Yeah.
No. They didn't say you had to pay it back. They said they're going to pay them throughout. They were at first going to give that
Oh.
opportunity, but now they're saying they'll pay them throughout.
Got it.
But it's like,
Yeah, and see,
I know they get 10 grand
the
to
weird
do that.
thing.
If it's a big business, or if it's a business with very few employees, they'll give you 10 grand to keep payroll. So if I don't know how much you make a month, but if like they can make payroll with 10 grand, then they can even probably keep what's left over and get the loan forgiven. Because
Yeah.
we looked into it.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, and see, here's the weird thing, though, is we're very archaic, and we don't have direct deposit. So Wednesday, I rode my bike down to the show. It's about 8 miles and stuff, so the ride there wasn't bad. The ride back, that's a whole other story. But I went and had to go pick up my check, and my boss was there. And the boss, the guy that's right above me, he's a character, to say the least. He's kind of like an OG Austin kind of like punk dude, and we get along pretty well when it comes to talking about like, stuff like that. And we get along when it comes to shit like that, and we've definitely had our spats. You know, he's kind of a shit when it comes for me, like taking off work, taking vacation, stuff like that. Typical boss shit. But I walk in there, and he's there printing. And I'm just kind of like, what are you doing, man? And he's like, oh, I'm just printing. Hey, if you ever like want to come in and work a little bit, I'm more than happy to have you. And I'm just like, yeah.
Not gonna do that. Yeah.
I mean,
no.
Yeah, what do you do? I guess we've been asking everybody this. What are you doing during the day? Like, what are you doing with your time where you can't do anything fun?
So I've turned into a night owl lately. I stay up till around 5, usually just smoking hella weed and watching like wrestling. It's pretty much all I'm doing.
It's the fucking best right now. I've been getting
catch up on podcasts.
I've been getting so much frivolous entertainment done.
I'm not really.
Yeah, I put in like 70 hours in Animal Crossing.
Yes.
I just kind of like sit around, hang out with my girlfriend. She's working from home. She only works half of the week though, but we'll hang out, play video games together, try to cook a lot more here, obviously.
That's the worst.
And dude, I definitely do go ride my bike a lot, which is nice.
Yeah.
Nice empty streets.
Yeah, I get my walks in and like once I'm home, it's like, hey, let's fucking just watch a movie or something, I guess. There's not really anything else you can do. But it's like getting harder and harder to find a movie to entertain me, like it's just
definitely running out of media at this point. But you were talking about bluegrass previously with the caller. Have you heard the Metallica bluegrass record?
What is it called?
The cover record.
Oh, it's covers.
Let me see here. Yeah, it's just a cover.
I don't.
I think it's called Fade to Bluegrass.
Okay.
You said AC Dixie?
You've never heard of Hayseed Dixie?
Oh, I think you said AC.
No, Hayseed Dixie.
What's the name of it?
It's called Fade to Bluegrass, the bluegrass tribute to Metallica.
You know what? I need that kind of stuff because I'm trying to I have to figure out a way to play music that isn't Metallica, but it has to be Metallica for me to be satisfied. And So Rodrigo y Gabriela put out the Metal EP, which they did a cover of Slayer, Megadeth, and Metallica, but it's only 3 songs. So I need softer stuff that goes hard. So I think this is a great recommendation. I will tear into this voraciously.
Yeah. You can get
Hell yeah. I have a question for you, Brian, about Pantera.
Okay.
Okay, so I misheard because I started listening to you guys in August. It was Cass Barbadoro that shouted you guys out on WrestleMania, so that's how I kind of dove into y'all's catalog and whatnot. And I could have sworn, did you say that the first 2 Pantera records are trash?
No. Here's something I've said. I say those ones like power metal and stuff. It's just.
Okay.
It's a different band. I like Cowboys from Hell, and I basically like Cowboys from Hell, Vulgar Display of Power, Far Beyond Driven, and The Great Southern Trendkill. Anything else outside of that because they got real bad after the Great Southern Trendkill. It was just like that Reinventing the Steel album is bad. It just sucks, you know? So
no, for sure.
I listened to some Pantera this week, and it was fun. I listened to all. I listened to Vulgar Display, Far Beyond Driven, and
oh yeah,
the Great Southern Trendkill in a row. And like, it's really hard not to like those albums. Oof.
Yeah, that's kind of another thing my girlfriend and I have been doing to like kill time. We've been watching a lot of like concert videos, like rock concerts. We watched a bunch of Metallica live videos. We watched Live Shit, I think Live from Seattle. We watched the Cunning Stunts one, which is actually my favorite live Metallica video.
I'll watch that.
I don't know if y'all have seen that.
Mm-mm.
Oh my God, y'all need to check this out like immediately. It's on YouTube, and it was filmed actually in Fort Worth at a convention center that I've worked at, coincidentally. But this is during the Load era, so they got all their short hair and shit.
I love Load.
And the best part, I mean, it's kind of a spoiler, but I mean, I don't know, it's pretty well known. I don't know if you guys mind me telling you this, but there's a part when they're playing Enter Sandman where the whole stage just like blows up. It's fucking insane.
Oh, is that when he catches on fire?
No, that was.
Yeah. Like there's a guy running on fire, and like the lighting rigs fall into the stage, and it like just looks like fucking madness. And when I first saw that DVD when I was like 12 years old, I was just like, whoa, that's so cool.
Wow, this is a 2-hour and 10-minute concert, and it's in full HD on YouTube.
Fuck, I'm into it. Thank you.
Stunts.
I thought I had seen it all. This is brilliant.
The metal people that the metal people that accept that we like what we like are the best, because they'll get you into some cool stuff.
I mean, they can just get you deeper into the cut. Like, just keep going.
Yeah.
Down the wormhole.
Yeah, so when I was a kid, Metallica was I have like a really special like connection with that band, because the first CD I bought was Ride the Lightning at a like Mexican discoteca when I was younger. Saved up my allowance money, and I bought like a Mexican import of that when I was like 11. And my dad actually took me to see them on the Saint Anger tour.
Wait, what's that?
My dad took me to see Metallica on the Saint Anger tour back in like 2004.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was a really cool show, and my dad didn't really know that he has like anxiety issues. He's like from Mexico, doesn't really talk about like, you know, stuff like that. But basically, looking back at it, I think my dad had a panic attack and we had to leave early.
Really?
Yeah,
he just got overwhelmed?
Yeah, I think he was overwhelmed and stuff. My favorite story about my dad is when he was like around like, you know, in his 20s, he was at a party somewhere in Texas, and he was dressed up like Gene Simmons. He was like a really big Kiss fan growing up. And he had like the platform boots, the whole nine, and cops apparently raided like the party and shit. And I've had multiple people, like his friends, confirm the story for me. The cops raided the place, and he had to run from the cops, all dressed up like Gene Simmons.
Yeah,
platform boots and everything. I love that.
Yeah. So was he like?
Yeah, no, just.
So how did you feel about Saint Anger though? I'm wondering, how old were you when you went to go see Saint Anger with him?
I was 12. I was 12 years old.
Oh, okay. So you.
And I thought it's funny because I loved Saint Anger growing up. I thought it was so cool, and I will still stand by that record. Honestly, like because it's almost more like punk influence. I hear a lot of like more traditional like punk and hardcore sounds in that, and I don't know. I still like. There's some really bad lyrics, some terrible lyrics in there, but I like it. I don't give a shit. It's a good record.
Yeah, that's the funny thing is I've through this journey, there has been a lot of people that were in that like 9 to 12 age range when Saint Anger came out, and now they're hitting me up like that's literally the most important Metallica album to me. Like I don't know why you wouldn't like it. You know. It's hard to make sense of that, like the personal connections you can have to it. But that album, when you watch the documentary that went along with it, like it is just so raw there's the song where he's singing about Sweet Amber, which is basically just about beer and like alcoholism and everything, and it's just so naked, and he's just like pouring his heart out, and there's no more metaphors at this point. Like, you know, Metallica before that was like, you know, maybe it was like all cloaked in a very cool aesthetic, and now it was just like self abuse and death and all of these like very heavy things without any sort of metaphors attached to them. Saint Anger is like a very, very interesting album in their career.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. I love Some Kind of Monster. I bought that DVD as soon as it came out, and weirdly used to just like fall asleep to it for some reason. So I always have that fucking some kind of monster riff just like looping in my head.
You're comfortable with some conflict in the room. You're just comfortable with like a little bit of like tensity. You know,
a sweet little hum of people who hate each other.
Just a little bit of we're riding on the razor's edge right now. So.
Yeah, that whole fucking movie is so like.
Yeah, it's incredible.
They'll make you mad at just different guys at different times.
It's so good. Everybody's an asshole. Everybody involved is an asshole. I think that's what they all come out so much more human at the end of it. Even now that I've become obsessed with Dave Mustaine and Megadeth and like seeing his part in it.
It's funny.
It does.
He's put on a show, and
really is, you know, running into it, you know, full force. But he also, as like an artist, did really go after it over and over again. Like he never relented from talking about some of those topics.
Yeah.
You know, like he like I don't know. It's neat because that kind of stuff is a history, and you don't get to like plan that kind of stuff out. It's just what happens. And, you know, Metallica made a fucking documentary in this very weird album. And then, you know, they've returned to form. Like, I like the new Hardwired to Self-Destruct fucking album. I think that's pretty good.
A fan too.
If you like the old style, like they get back to the same old riffs, it hits in the same ways. I think it's a good fucking album.
Do you think they sat in the back and said, I think this one's a little bit too generic? I remember how they would like, too stock. I think this one's a little too stock, you know?
Yeah.
When they stopped caring about stock.
Yeah.
No, I heard the song on the wrestling match, and I thought, truthfully, it sounded like Ride the Lightning.
Classic Metallica,
yeah.
But Saint Anger is a very interesting time, and it's a very special time period. I'm glad that you have a connection to it.
Yeah, like when I was younger, I would watch like Headbangers Ball with my best friend in 8th grade, and they would always play like Saint Anger, and that's kind of how I also got into like more like punk rock, hardcore kind of stuff. And I distinctly remember when Death Magnetic came out, I was in high school and just super fucking excited for this. And just super pumped, and I bought the CD on the day it came out, and I fucking hate that record. It sounds like shit. The songs are too long. It does not hit as hard as the newest
You don't like
record.
Unforgiven 3?
That's a good one.
No, no, sir. Unforgiven 1 and 2 bangers, but 3, nah, man.
I had my buddies Kevin and Chris from the Bad Wrestling podcast on the other day, and Kevin is like 22, I think.
Yeah.
And his favorite Metallica is Death Magnetic.
Yeah, they were. No, he liked Lulu, I thought.
Oh yeah, they like
they're jokesters
doing the bad stuff. They were the Bad Wrestling podcast.
I like Death Magnetic.
Yeah, that's a bad bit. That's a bad bit. Lulu's terrible.
Yeah.
Personally, I do like. I think that I like Death Magnetic more than Saint Anger.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, like musically.
Really?
Yeah, musically, I like it. I mean, you know, Saint Anger is like it grew on me, and I love that, like, you know, James Hetfield is trying to express himself in like the most fully way possible. I appreciate that, like, about it. But Death Magnetic feels like a little bit more of a return to form. Like, there's some pretty good riffs on that fucking album. And Unforgiven 3 is
also
Unforgiven 3 is such a bad attempt at doing it. And then eventually it just sets in where you're like, this is Unforgiven 3. They decide. They've been doing this for 40 years. They say this is Unforgiven 3. I don't get to make fun of this. They're in charge. Mm-hmm. I'm a fan of them. They said this is Unforgiven 3. I love this song now. Because Unforgiven 3 is all about me, right? I have to forgive myself. Like, Unforgiven 3 does
They
pass
should
the
have
torch.
to say Unforgiven 3 in
They
the
do
song,
say
though.
Unforgiven 3.
No, they don't. I don't think.
I'm pretty sure
I'm gonna
they-
look it up. I'm gonna look it up. But thanks for calling in. It's always fun to talk metal. Metal's coming back.
Yeah, no, of course, definitely. I appreciate you guys coming through to Austin last October again. I'm sorry about the bullshit y'all had to deal with that. That was a real bummer to hear all the crap y'all had to deal with at the venue.
Yeah, we're playing it up for laughs. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
it's
fine.
just the cost of doing business. It is unfortunate. It's the same complaints that all y'all have about your jobs too.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and one more thing before I let you guys go. Brian, You're Wrong, Elite by Deftones. Absolute banger of a song. You're tripping.
I mean, listen, I'm gonna say it's a good song, and a bad Deftones song is just as good as like a regular good song. It's just, I don't like that song. I just feel like that song is like a turd in a punch bowl situation there. Because you're just like, this whole album has this like moody atmospheric thing, and then there's just this one song on the album that sounds like it's from Around the Fur or Adrenaline. It's like just this one song that doesn't mix with all the rest of the songs, and it feels like it's only there so that he can scream, so that people who like metal can be like, okay, there's some metal on this album,
Yeah, that's totally fair. I totally get that.
Yeah. Well, thanks for calling in, buddy. Have a good night.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys letting me talk. I've been a big fan for a while. I hope you guys, stay safe and take care throughout all this. All right.
All right, we will. It doesn't say Unforgiven 3 because I listened for it.
Well, when I sing it to myself, I just sing Unforgiven 3 over and over again.
Because that's the thing about Unforgiven 2 that makes it one of the great
They
songs
say
ever.
they say
like,
the
will
name.
you be there? Because I'm the one who waits for you. Or are you Unforgiven 2?
Yeah, that
you gotta fit 3 in there, dude.
I know. They should have said, "Are we
They got
Unforgiven 3?"
They got 2 in their head.
I mean, it's just that like we had a baby, we added this to this. Are we Unforgiven 3 for being breeders or something?
Well, I also don't see a what I felt, like the what I felt, what I known thing isn't really in there, which feels like that's what you would make. You would make sure that in some way each of the Unforgiven says what I felt,
Yeah, some sort of cadence like that.
Because the first one's like what I felt, what I've known.
Yeah.
And then Unforgiven 2 is like what I felt, what I known. And it's
Right.
like you just didn't do any of the stuff in
Yeah.
Unforgiven 3. Very lazy. Very lazy
Okay,
song.
fair. But when I listen to it, I like it.
I'm just I'm a comedy. I write comedy stuff, so maybe Metallica was going for something other than comedy.
Yeah,
too.
You're right.
You
I mean,
know?
I do think though they should have incorporated the what I felt, what I know. It does
I
make
know.
sense. No,
it's two things. There's two things that make
That's
should
what makes
make
it.
an
That's
Unforgiven
that's an
song.
Unforgiven. That's how I know when I'm Unforgiven. Like if somebody had their back and they turned around and they said to you, you know what I've felt, and you know what I've known. You know you're about to be unforgiven.
Yeah.
You know you've done something deplorable. Like you're beyond the pale. You're unforgiven now.
Turn the pages, turn. See how they added a little bit to it too in part 2? It makes so much sense.
It does.
And then part 3 is just like Beverly Hills Cop 3.
Yeah, I mean, Death Magnetic I think is a good album.
Okay.
I think Death Magnetic over Saint Anger. It's the second from the bottom. Hardwired to Self-Destruct is third from the bottom.
Okay.
That's where we're at in my Metallica
my
ranking.
favorite one is Garage Inc. and also and Justice for All.
You know what? When we did there was an extra show that you did with the Bad Wrestling Podcast. You mentioned And Justice for All was your favorite. I have not been listening to that one as much as the others. And Shortest Straw is...
But that was one of my favorites.
That is the best song.
Yeah.
Like, Erica is always like, what'd you say? And I was like, I just said Shortest Straw has been pulled for you.
Yeah.
I said that to me as I'm doing the dishes. That's what I'm doing here. Like, I wasn't talking to you. I'm saying Shortest Straw.
I loved that. I loved Blackened.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. I mean,
do you think my uncle, who is the uncle that you've met,
my favorite uncle,
right?
Mark Bragg.
Mark
Legend.
Bragg.
Legend
The
of
fact
Street
that
Fight. Honestly,
as much of a, you don't even know how much of a, because I'm about to
he's
tell you
the
something.
best. He is the best dad I've ever come in contact with. I promise you. I'm not trying to. I mean, I swear to God, he is just incredible as a human being. I love Mark Bragg.
And when I was in 4th grade, he gave me "And Justice for All," the cassette, for Christmas. And I was like, I didn't even know who it was, and everybody in the house was like, I can't believe you would give that to him.
Right, that seemed dangerous.
I put that fucking thing in, and it blew my fucking mind. I never heard anything that heavy in my life. And I think he has a lot to do with, like, the direction I ended up deciding to go in my life. Like just, like, introducing somebody to, like, Metallica in 4th grade, and, like, stuff that doesn't, like, follow the rules and is crude and is loud.
I'm gonna be on the fringes. There's the fringes, young man. There you can just be a rabble rouser. You can defect from society and be the asshole that they hate.
Yeah.
You can be the person that creates the problems that they have to develop all of their systems against you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can be a wrench in the gears.
That's what's cool about it.
All right, next call. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hi, I'm Ben. Long-time
Howdy,
listener,
Ben.
first-time caller.
Hey, Ben, how's it going?
It's going all right. I'm actually Kiara's nesting partner. She suggested I call in, so here I am.
Okay. You're the nesting partner.
Yeah.
You guys live
yeah, it's
together?
a poly thing.
Okay. Well, what's going on tonight?
Well, I have a concept I've been talking about with my friends lately, and it might be useful for you guys because I know you guys are wrestling nerds. So we've gone through all these phases of capitalism, industrial capitalism, neoliberal capitalism. I think where we are now is kayfabe capitalism, where we pretend that everything's fine, it's still working, and it's not. 35% of us are unemployed, but no, stock market's fine. Ignore it.
I mean, we're in a kayfabe politics time, to tell you the truth, because, like, I don't really think we vote for what... The thing about what we're really voting for in any of these elections is what a person says they want to do. You know? You're, like, voting for this, like, theoretical world that doesn't really come to pass without, you know, more work or whatever. I'm not saying that if Bernie got elected, he wouldn't have been able to do anything. I'm saying that, like, with Obama... Like, I felt that we voted for vague ideas that he knew the right thing to do. And, he didn't. And...
But at this moment right now, though, they're talking about 1/3 of people haven't paid their rent. 1/3 of renters haven't paid. And everybody is kind of moving forward. Like, you just go and punch the clock on Zoom now. Yeah. We just go to Zoom instead. When we have, like, unemployment claims that are through the fucking roof. And we're all just, like, pretending that, you know, like, we're going along with the economic system that has caused all of this, and only because we want them to keep their promise that we're all going to be safe and this is going to be normal again. We're going to be back to our regular lives of just, you know, buying shit and expecting less.
Yeah. And during the Depression, like, at its worst, unemployment was at 25%. And we're probably beyond that already.
Well, yeah, and there was even there was an interesting paradigm that was put out there on Twitter where these dairy farmers were dumping milk down the drain because it was going to go bad and they couldn't hold it and there wasn't enough demand for it. But the same thing was happening during the Depression where there was producers that had stuff. There was just nobody to buy it, so they fucking threw it away. Like, it's it really shows the disconnect between what we pay for and what we get, and like what we can produce for what we actually need. You know, like we have enough for all of us. It's very apparent that, like, if you go to your regular old grocery store, if you had a dozen people in front of it that didn't have anything to eat, they could go into the grocery store and get anything they want, and it wouldn't cause a problem. There's enough goods and services to go around. But now we're now it's, you know, us pretending that we can keep it going without, you know, spreading the wealth around. Those people aren't getting
Exactly.
paid anymore.
I feel like
Yeah, I mean, we have the productive capacity to feed the earth twice over, and most of it doesn't even make it to, like, it doesn't even make it to where consumers could access it. It's lost on the way.
Yeah,
and people, and people are hoarding toilet paper, and people are hoarding like flour and stuff. But there is enough production available to replace it. There is enough workforce and labor there to do it. We can, there's enough to provide the majority of what we need. Like, we're on such a downsized economy. I have to say, as like a very privileged person, you know, with my wife's position, like, I feel like I'm saving money right now. Cause I'm not going out and just tipping heavily on like a cocktail, you know. I'm not spending money on concert tickets right now. I'm not spending money on like going to Target because I'm bored and like whoopsie daisying $150 purchase, you know. Like, it's it really now it has forced us all to have a conversation about like what all we're doing and what is worth money and how we distribute all this stuff, because a lot of people can't do their job anymore, and they still have value, and they still need food and clothes and all of the necessities that we all do.
Right. And I think this also demonstrates that there are a lot of jobs that are pretty much busy work. They're just there to make sure that you're not thinking about what could be, and you're just punching a clock. Like, they don't produce anything, they don't put anything to society, and I'm not saying that like it's bad for people to do them, because there's no choice. Sure. But there's no, outside of the system that exists, there's no need for those jobs. Like, I have one of those jobs. I'm a web designer. What the fuck is that? I mean
honestly, the thing about it is that like the economy is running on a very low RPM right now, and I think we're doing fine. I mean, people are like, you know, taking a rubber spatula to the hummus dish now to get everything out of it. But like, we can always re-up on groceries. We have access to those things. There isn't really a need for the hyper workload that we're all dependent on. Like, the folks that are working from home, they're doing it for 4 to 6 hours instead of 8 hours. Like, half of the time they're distracted by their kids or by a movie that they're fucking watching. And this really lays the whole conversation bare that we don't need to do as much. We don't need to spend as much time as we do working, because it's not fucking necessary. We can literally stay inside of our houses and go to the grocery store every single 2 weeks and have a lot less stress in the world for people to keep projects going, or to keep punching numbers into systems, or, you know, like, the amount of money that's being spent is just ridiculous. You know, there's people like Jeff Bezos that have enough to take care of all of us for the month of May. So like, we don't require anything at all. We require very little for sustenance and to get by. So there's no reason that all of us together can't just keep distributing the goods that we want and need, and get rid of all of the people at the top that are taking all of the excess labor to spend on their yachts and Lamborghinis and shit.
Exactly. And they're the people who drive this insane constant need for growth. Like, that never matters to the working class.
Right now, we
always
can't.
matters, at least not for a long time.
Yeah, there's no reason to spend every fucking hour of your day to like trying to squeeze an extra 10 cents out of something, unless you're paid to do it. Unless you're paid, someone can pay you 5 cents to get you to squeeze $1 out of every hour. So, yeah, I mean, it's a really as this thing goes on, I think we are hopefully moving towards something that we've never seen before. I don't think that this type of period of like uncertainty and confusion and time for rumination won't produce something else on the other end that is more in favor with what we're thinking, you know?
this resembles the stories I heard growing up from my grandfather about the rise of the labor movement during the Depression. Like, I'm watching things happen beat for beat exactly like the things that he told me. So there's some hope there at least.
Yeah, sure. What's holding us back is we can't gather together in any significant numbers. But, what is going to come out of this is going to be, a lot of radicalized people for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I've anecdotally at least had a very, very easy time radicalizing people who've never really haven't even considered politics the way we sort of allow politics to be thought of in the United States, and certainly not as just as a mass movement of people. And they're just like, oh yeah, we should just throw capitalism away now. That's fine. Yeah.
So everybody show up to the White House, and we peacefully demand that they walk out. Otherwise, we have to do what we have to do to take it over.
Right.
Well, when we can gather again, let's make a deal that we will be there.
Yes, to take over the White House?
Yeah.
Wherever it is.
Wherever the call is.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for calling in. We certainly appreciate it.
You're welcome. It was nice talking to you guys.
Is there a Twitter or an Instagram people we should send them to?
I mean, I've got a Twitter, but I never use it because I don't want a brain aneurysm. So,
okay.
But I do have two quick things. One, if you guys are out wearing personal protective equipment, beards ruin the seal unless you can tuck them up inside. That's an issue I've been dealing with too. So just a warning.
Okay.
And talking about metal, check out the band Nine Treasures. They're Mongolian folk metal. They're amazing.
Okay. Nine Treasures. I'm into it. Yeah. Got it pulled up.
Talk to you guys later.
Yeah,
have a good night.
Good one. Peace. Ready to do this? We got to jump in.
All right. Well, we're past time now, so you can go as long as you want.
We got one person that's paid their dues. They've waited forever.
All right. Well, let's get this one person done.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Tyler from Marriott again.
Tyler, I'm glad we took it. See? How's it going at Marriott? You're here. You're there still. It's good to hear.
Hey, not bad, man. I've only been working 2 days a week. They wanted me to come in Thursday and Friday for 3 hours. And I was like, fuck that. I'm trying to get this unemployment, so.
You getting hazard pay at all?
No, not at all. That's what my name on Twitter right now, actually, is I need hazard pay. Yeah.
So Marriott is trying to keep you, part-time? They're can you get unemployment on part-time like that?
Actually, when I get off the phone with you guys, I'm about to go inside and try to figure it out some more, because I was approved for it 3 weeks ago, and I'm only working 2 8-hour days a week, so
okay.
I got my hours cut severely.
So you get to claim the rest.
Exactly. So then today was supposed to be the day I report and tell them that I'm still, got my hours cut and everything. But I think I got to send them a check stub and shit, so it's kind of weird.
Well, I mean, it's better than you doing extra days at work, though.
No, for sure. Because what they wanted me to do was come in on Thursday and Friday to be a houseman, which is just cleaning up the bathrooms and shit. And I'm not doing that, man.
Yeah.
Not right now, anyways. Shit.
I'm not looking for extra. I'm not in the market for extra hours right now.
Exactly. And then on top of that, it's the bathroom. I'm not going in the bathroom, yo.
How many people are coming through Marriott right now?
Today is actually a kind of busy day. We got 14 people in house, which I was surprised. The last 2-3 weeks was bad. It was real bad. And I'm there was a big rumor going around that we was going to rent out this hotel to the hospital down the street. But then I guess Marriott sent us a shit ton of money to stay open. So. Okay.
So are you trying to split them up?
Grimy.
Are you trying to split them up in the building, between floors and shit?
Pretty much. We got the first floor packed, and then we got the top floor packed. But then the 2 middle floors are empty.
What
So
about?
I guess, but then again, there's only 14 people, so like, they all spaced out. So
Do they get like? Do you still get continental breakfast or anything?
they don't get no discount, nothing. We don't got no breakfast, like nothing to give them.
There's no perks or incentives or like thank yous. No double Marriott Bonvoy reward points or anything.
Hell no, man. I wish. People ask me too, and I'm like, I mean, you could get a hold of Marriott and ask them, but like, I can't give nothing. It's crazy because like I don't know, they didn't leave us like instructions or anything to talk to people like when they ask questions about this shit. So it was just like, yeah.
What are your precautions? Like, do you have any like? Do you have like a spit guard or like coverage at the front desk?
No, not at all. I mean, we got gloves and like hand sanitizer. We got hand sanitizer wipes. That was for the workout room, but we just brought them over there.
Sure. Yeah, just pilfer those.
Oh shoot. Hey, actually, I got a walk-in right now, so I guess I'll let you guys go. Okay.
All right. Have a good one, man.
Hey, thanks for talking for y'all.
Number 15's a B, so good luck. Peace out, dude.
Yeah, right.
Please
I'll
call
put
back.
out some gloves, man. Yeah, I will. All right,
Oh
y'all.
my goodness. Last call, y'all. This is the one. Taylor had a fucking walk-in. Resident number 15 at the Marriott showed up.
Walk-in?
Yeah.
I'm outside, I guess.
While he was on the phone.
Oh shit. Well,
He said they don't get no specials. Like they're paying full price.
Yeah,
They're paying
I looked it up.
fucking $90 a night or whatever it is. $100 a night.
I wouldn't stay in a fucking hotel right
You better
now.
make me a goddamn omelet in the morning for free.
You're crazy if you think I'm staying in a hotel.
All right. Thanks for calling Street Fight. You're the last call tonight. Who we talking to?
Oh wow, I can't believe I actually got on. Hey, this is David from New Jersey. I called a few weeks ago. A little while back.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey. Yeah, so I wanted to call because I wanted to kind of just like vent a little bit because like I said, the first time I called, I work at an Amazon warehouse, and I just found out last week that there's been a confirmed case of coronavirus.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
Yeah, you can say that. And so I'm kind of not happy about that, to say the least. And of course, those motherfuckers aren't closing the place down to do any like deep cleaning or anything like that.
Has
they
there
have
been any
like
response at all? What's been the response so far?
Well, they have like 4 janitors for like the whole place, and they're trying to convince us that that those 4 janitors are like scrubbing the entire place down, are like scrubbing every single inch of the place and sanitizing everything. Yeah, they're like really playing up like how much they're like cleaning the place, but I rarely see anything. There's still like a bunch of trash on the ground, like a bunch of paper and wood, and just like it's clear that they're not really doing too much. They're handing out these like masks.
Okay.
That kind of remind me of like coffee filters.
Yeah. There's one that look like Chinese food takeout boxes too. Have you seen those ones that are just like box shaped? It looks like folded.
Nope. I have like a normal one that I'm using.
Yeah.
So I feel about. I don't think I've seen any really weird ones. I think people in Ohio.
The N95s look so cool just because they look so safe.
Yeah.
Like they don't even look, but when I see somebody with an N95, I'm like, damn, you get filtering out 95% of all particles right now.
I have 2 N95s right now.
That's sick.
I'm doing okay in that N95.
Don't brag about it.
Yeah. One's like
yeah, I have an uncle who I have an uncle who was generous enough to give me a N95 mask, which I've been using. So So that's good, I guess.
Yeah.
I have a double.
Yeah,
I
and,
use two bandanas just folded over. It's the same. It's like a N94 maybe, just like right under 93. N93. I put starch on it too.
Yeah. I found one other thing that really annoys me is like the way that I found out about it is that they sent out like a text message and like a pre-recorded voicemail to all of us. This was during my shift, and I didn't read the message or like listen to the voicemail. I found out about those two things from a coworker. Because one thing I've been doing is going around and kind of just been like casually asking, like, "Hey, you guys haven't heard about anybody getting sick, have you?" And I did this, and I did that to one of my coworkers, and he turns to me and he's like very visibly like angry, and I'm like, "Oh boy, what's this?" And he tells me, "Oh, what? You haven't heard like the voicemail?" And I'm like, "No. What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's here. Somebody got it." And I'm like, holy shit, are you serious? And I too was not very happy. I got just as mad as him. And
you know what?
Yeah.
There's no reason that you can't like push the halt button on operations to figure out like what happened and what you need to do to reset the warehouse. Like, why are you finding out about it as scuttlebutt from another employee?
Yeah, I know exactly. It's yeah.
Bullshit, man. So what's happening now? Like, what's the next steps?
Well, they're just keeping on business as usual. We occasionally get some like voicemail saying how like they're so appreciative of us and what we're doing. Yeah, it's awesome, right? I love it.
Like, what do you do with your appreciation at the end of the night? Do you just snuggle up with it, trade it in for money? What do you do?
Appreciation doesn't get me like any alcohol or drugs or anything like that.
Yeah,
so
fuck
I'd
appreciation. That's true. That's a good reason to fuck appreciation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. And one other thing that I just remembered one thing that really makes me mad, probably even more than like the stuff. Probably even more than having the case in my own warehouse is that there's another warehouse that's like down the street.
Okay.
And I have a friend who works there. She actually recently transferred there, and I heard from the same guy who told me about the case at the one that we work at. I heard from him that there's like 5 cases there.
Damn.
And when I heard that, I felt like a pit in my stomach. And as soon as I could, I texted her and I asked her like, "Hey, I heard there's like 5 cases at your warehouse. How are you doing?" And I didn't hear anything from her after I got back from home. And I texted her again, and then the day after that, I haven't heard anything from her.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't really know what to make of that.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling with your sucky ass story, dude.
Was a good story.
No, it was great.
Brett is brutal.
No problem.
I know, I'm joking.
It was not a sucky story.
No, it was great. No, I mean that's where we're at, though. I mean,
I'm always here to bring down the mood.
No, you're right. Like the person that called in about kayfabe earlier, it's the same thing where you're just supposed to be like, "What do you mean, Corona-19? I'm going to work at the Amazon warehouse. It's just like a normal everyday thing that I do. I clock in. Nothing's different."
True.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't I didn't want you to hang up.
Oh, I know.
Hurt. I hate it when people's
I was
feelings
joshing.
all good. It's all good.
All right. Thanks for calling in. We are going home. It was great to talk to everybody today.
Yeah, thanks for reporting in from the front lines. We're not doing shit here. I'm not exposing myself as some Amazon fucking warehouse or anything like that.
No, well,
I'm a coward.
I'm looking for. I want to start making soft serve ice cream.
What? What do you mean?
Like I want to start making my own soft serve ice cream.
What does that even mean?
With the blizzards, I want to make my own blizzards. Is what I'm trying to say.
Don't you have to have a machine for that?
You do, and right.
An ice milk machine.
There's one that's.
It's not like dairy product. You have to get like. Don't you have to buy the powder?
I don't know. This one says it's a machine for $9.99.
$1,000?
$9,000 or no $99.99.
Oh, okay.
So $100.
Okay, $100.
And I can make my own soft serve at my house, which then you just get the soft serve in a cup. You whip it around with one of them little we have an immersion thing. You get that in there with your Reese cups. You got yourself a fucking blizzard. You made it at home.
That's true. You took over the means of the production of blizzards from Dairy Queen.
And it's probably cheaper. Like
yeah, it sounds like
$99.99. It'd save me.
It's gonna save you $999. That's what you would have spent on
blizzard
blizzards.
Is like $4.
They're a lot.
Know? Yeah.
They pack a punch to the wallet.
But they're so good, and also like I want a blizzard now.
Yeah, I'd love to have. I'd love to whip up a blizzard. Just like let me go grab the blizzard machine. I got some milk and some powder, and we'll put this shit together right now.
And Dairy Queen is like really bad to their employees. Like that's one of those places.
Yeah,
that's just ruthless. They hire 14-year-olds so they can start treating them bad right away.
They use chains on them still. They still whip them with chains, which is just.
I mean, they are bad. Don't act like I'm overreacting. Dairy Queen's a bad.
No, they beat them. They beat them with the inch of their life just to break them, just to make them into good employees. Dairy Queen's some of the best employees you can get, but they've been beaten into shape by the Dairy Queen Corporation.
Yeah,
they break those teens.
They do break those teens.
Thank you for listening to Street Fight Radio. We will be back on Wednesday night where we're gonna share a bunch of stories about shitty ass working situations. You know, we're just overwhelmed with them at this point. So if you're tuning into the live stream right now on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, or YouTube, we'll be back on Wednesday. We love the chat. We love to see what everybody has to say. There's a lot of cool folks in there, and I'm always happy to see all y'all. So please come back. Please hang out with us. We're going to do call-ins next Sunday. This train's going to keep on rolling as long as we can. We are the voice of the underground, flat earth movement, party everywhere, Street Fight Radio. Peace.
$100, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
but I got let me show it
Texas
to you.
Kate had a fucking ice cream machine, and she would do some like bergamot blueberry stuff out of nowhere.
Yeah.
When we were like wasted at 4 a.m, and it was the shit.
This thing's $99.95, and you can make